Hello, everybody, and welcome to the World Finals of ESDA. Up in the booth with me, as always, we got Keenan Kusin. Keenan, how you doing today?
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the final of the most important day in esports drifting on this side of the pond. We are taking our 32 drivers from across the world and going down into the one over this special two-day event, Joe. I'm so excited. I'm excited to where we are. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it's all come down to this a whole year, and a whole bunch of drivers across the world, and it's all come down to today and tomorrow.
Yeah, it is getting really good. Our judges today, Harold McKinney, Grizz Skids, and Slay J. Bring some Shadow Realm in over here. On Drone Cam, as always, we have Spawns FPV. And so today, for the Worlds, we go traveling finally all the way from North America over the ocean. And we find ourselves, for the finals, a classic circuit. We find ourselves at Tsukuba in Japan. Tsukuba, how do we want to say it? I'm saying Tsukuba.
You know, I'm not going to correct you, but
that's the wrong track link.
Yeah, this is a super classic venue. To anybody who's been following ESDA back in our pre-ESDA days, anybody who's still with us from Forza, I'm sure Gran Turismo guys feel this way, even AC guys feel this way. This is such a classic venue for esports drifting, for sim drifting, for real drifting as well. This section very similar to what used to run in Forza. It's got the longer run-up, which we could never do properly in a game where you can't put walls down and clipping points and whatnot. So this is what it should have been all those years ago, and I'm so stoked that we have such an iconic venue and under the lights, as the B-roll would show you, but it's not, because I forgot that it's a night round and filmed all the shots during the day. But yeah, I'm stoked, man. It's going to be a super fun section. I did a little bit of driving here last night. The stretch from Outer Zone 2 to Outer Zone 3 is very tricky. The decel zone going into the final hairpin's tricky with the banking as well. Tons of places of contention. It's a small track, but there's a lot of things that can happen in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, and gotta say, love Tsukuba. Really just full all-out track map, especially into that final hairpin. And we're getting drivers loaded in here and getting ready because we're doing a double elimination bracket. So today, the top 16 or the lower drivers will be battling for the final 4 slots in the top 16. And then tomorrow, we're going to have a top 16 double elimination bracket. So no one's going home on the first loss. Here's our first group, just so we understand how it's going. So the first battle will be Kosti Shavola up against Viljami Wallman, and the winner of that will go on up against Tim Robers, and then the winners go on so far. But then you'll see on the bottom, the losers from each battle will get seeded in onto the bottom, and the losers from the first battle and the third battle will really have to claw their way back to secure that one slot. Overall, really good. Just, again, I'm excited to see this. I always love it when a drift competition, a driver can really come back from a deficit and take over and win. And that can happen today. It will take a lot. It'll take digging deep. But I think overall, we'll be good to go on this. And yeah, I am super excited. As let's take a look at what our first battle will be here. Again,
I mean, to your point, Joe, we've seen it before. The whole format this season, to your point, our first battle be Kosti Shavola against Viljami Wallman, one from Team Shavola, one from Firman Drift Team. But we've seen it already this year with the Swiss format, where drivers have an opportunity to come back and have more than one battle. Obviously, that is such an exciting part of drifting, of where it all gets laid on the line and you have to figure it out off rip, and if you don't, you're going home. But this adds a little bit more strategy into it, and that's only going to continue tomorrow with a little bit more of a traditional, air quotes, double elimination bracket. But yeah, we're taking all these drivers, we're winning them down into the top 16, and then from the top 16, we'll figure out who is your 2024 ESDA World Champion.
Yeah, looking really good overall. So in chat, I see Nico Stalia saying he can't make it. No good. Well, Nico, I hope everything is great for you and everything's well. So I'm gonna take a moment and take a look at our bracket one more time to make sure that everything is square and good to go.
You're already seeing some pretty good runs here in the warm-up. Again, these are the drivers that, if you made the top 8 in your region, you were automatically qualified for the World Final. But if you were in the bottom half of that top 8, you are in this prelim. So that's what we meant by just because somebody had finished out their runs or made the top 8, it wasn't necessarily over, because those who were in the podium positions in their top 8s of their regions, stick with me, made their lives a whole lot easier because they're not driving today. They only have tomorrow, which is still a double elimination bracket. So this is an extra little bit of challenge for all these drivers who are in their own respective regions preliminaries. Again, this is the European one, then we'll do the same thing we did all season with your APAC, with your South America, and your North America. So we get a little bit more acquainted with some drivers we haven't seen in a couple of months.
Yeah, overall. So we're just going through making sure our bracket is updated. I have a feeling I know what the first battle is, but I don't want to lock it in before we get confirmation from everyone else.
Again, thank everybody for joining us. It's going to be 2 full days of drifting. I'm starting today, obviously right now, and then tomorrow will be 11 o'clock Eastern time.
Yep.
And that'll be the big one. That'll be the double elimination to top 60 to figure out who is your world champion to begin. But again, to get there, we still have a bunch of really, really strong names to get through. Unfortunately, it looks like Nico Stilio will not be in competition today, but that means there's still 3 other drivers trying to fight for one spot. That's Kostya Sivila, Tim Roberts, and Yuna Waronen, who are in the server right now. Bottom half of the bracket as well when we go to get reacclimated with our South American drivers. Chitrada, Muriel Sobral, Diego Beltrami, Joao Paula, and Raul Begato. And then from the Asia region, which we definitely haven't seen in a long time, Thunafit Themalapidan, Sam McCoxcree. I can't wait to see that battle.
That'll be great.
Ryan Plantagen, who's been on a tear. And then Makoto Ito against Keisuke Fuji. And again, those are all 4 drivers that have to be narrowed down into one. Only one wildcard driver from each of their respective regions can move on into that top 16.
Yes, looking very, very good overall. All very strong drivers. If you are competing this weekend, you have really worked to make sure that it is... what you've done is amazing, to say the least.
It would not be an esports drift round if we didn't have some kinks to work out. Oh, that's where I thought he was. So Nico Stalia is at the FIA Motorsports Games right now, which is super cool. Because there is, I know Steve from iRacing's there, and
Nice.
a couple iRacing pro drivers are there. So I was like, oh, I wonder if there's some drifting people there. What could be better than having the little master, the Wonder Kid over there? So I'm stoked for you, Nico. Hope you have a great weekend, my friend. Got to drive in Drift Masters as well. That was super cool to see him do that. Show off the future generation of drifting, but how important this sim has become to practice regimens and how important it is becoming in the world of drifting, which makes total sense because it's so expensive for tires and fuel, and it's such a it's not like you can just go to the track, put in a track day and get some info on your setup. It's such an invaluable tool. We've seen it this year as well with Hiroya Manoa, with just putting a bunch of time in the sim in Formula Drift, and then had an incredible season. I think top 4, top 3 in points. So having somebody from our community there was super, super cool. And have a great weekend, Nico. And
Really.
have some ice cold apple juices and shake some hands.
And yeah, everyone is in the server warming up and ready to go, or at least some of our drivers are. We are still on the hunt for one more. Well, we got Tim Robers in. We got Viljami Wallman. We got Yuna Warren looking for Kosti Shavola. Kosti, if you're out there.
I think we're having a minor issue, minor technical issue as well. Yeah, no Kosti, no Nico as of right now. We obviously know where Nico is, but going to be a little inconvenient for the especially the Europeans, 'cause I think it's almost 11 o'clock in Finland right now.
That sounds about right by my math.
So obviously we tried to accommodate this season to have people be at whatever, or have the competition be at whatever would be most convenient for the time. So obviously with the APAC region, we started at like 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and then kind of worked our schedule around. But all come down to this now, World Final. We're going to have the top 32 drivers from across the world all competing for the one step on the top step of the podium. And these are just your preliminaries. There is one wild card slot that is available for each region. We're starting off with Europe. 2 super, super strong Finnish drivers in Vajami Wallman and Juna Oranen. Tim Robbers, I believe, representing Germany.
Yep. That is correct.
I remember things sometimes.
Haha, crazy.
So we are having an issue with our start light, because of course we are. Just waiting to see if we're going to try and fix it or just go ahead and come up with a different plan. And then we should be good to go here. We only have 3 drivers, though. We're still missing the 1. Obviously, again, Nico's not here. He just told us he wasn't here. So looking like Kosti is also not going to be here. So we have 2 scratches, which is, if you are one of the 3 drivers that made it, Joe, they got to be super, super excited.
I would be pretty stoked on that. That's just pure luck on some level. And honestly, you need that kind of luck. You really do.
Yeah, so that's a win for Wallman right out of the gate. Didn't even have to do anything. So he's going to be going up against Tim Robbers. Juno Warren is also going to get a free win against Nico Stalia, because obviously he's not here. So it'll be Tim versus Viljami Wallman. The winner goes up against Yuna, and then the winner from that gets to go up against whoever makes it out of the losers bracket on this side of the European wildcard preliminary.
So
by the end of this broadcast, we'll workshop a cool name for it that we'll never use again.
Tim Rovers, why are you not happy? Thought I set it up right. Well, Tim is here. I know he is. So, getting him on in here and ready to go.
So Tim will be in that black gold Supra. The A90 Supra. Strong wheels, long tire. Should be going up against the Finnish driver of Viljami Wallman here under the lights at Tsukuba Circuit. In super iconic venue, not just in the world of ESDA, but the world of drifting, period. Ashira member on the line. Again, they're a team that we've had in the ESDA space for a long time. They've come so far. They have a chance to get one more member in that final group. Again, only 1 member from the EU side of this bracket. We will make it through. And we're about to get it underway to figure out who it will be. Will it be Viljami Wallman from Finland? Will it be Tim Robbers from Germany? Or will it be Juna Warnen? And I can't wait to show you what he's driving. But to get there, we have to get through this.
Yes, we do. So, all the talk has now officially stopped. We're ready to go here.
I think we're just making one more attempt to get this light to work. There is a backup plan in place if this doesn't work out, but I think that is the last thing we're waiting on.
Good to go.
And this is your first battle of the day. Tim Robbers, Team Hashira. It's Firman Drift Team's Viljami Wallman, who I'm sure will be so excited that we will not be mispronouncing his name anymore.
Yeah, it does feel that way quite often.
After the conclusion of this weekend, at least. There's our little friend.
Yep.
Like the short kid who's late for school. Like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Running, hands behind his.
Hey, and I think the light works too.
Nice.
Just kidding. Just kidding, I lied to you.
Got so excited.
I saw it turn on there for a second, but we'll see. And the battle number 1. This side of the bracket's going to be a little bit less contentious. We were supposed to have multiple drivers. 2 drivers dropped out, so not as many fighting for those final spots. It will be one of 3 drivers here for the EU region. And it's kind of hard to make your availability months in advance, but that's what we're doing this season. It's whoever can commit and find the time, and it's a little bit difficult for those in Europe as well for what time the prelims are this afternoon, but this evening now, I guess. But afternoon if you're on the West Coast. I'm going to take my Copian there. As it does look like we are dropping the flag. First battle.
So we are off. Tim Roper's in the lead. Viljami Wallman in the chase. Tim Roper's, as he has really done throughout in his first rounds earlier in the season, just pulling away. Big angle from that Hashira car. Big speed as well. And Viljami Wallman really now having to play a little bit of catch up. Of course,
yeah, I mean, he got gapped right there off the start. I don't really know what happened there, if he was just sleeping or just, it looks like he just spun the tires really bad. But the gap had to come down at some point, and you'll see the Finnish driver in chase kind of just being really smart about it, as smart as you can be, cutting some line, cutting some angle, and it takes him the whole run. Not a long section here at Tsukuba. So he didn't really have a ton of opportunity to gain time. So did his best, but going to be sitting on a little bit of a disadvantage against one of the fastest cars in competition this weekend. Such an entry from Robbers there on the first corner with the wall. It's so difficult too. You can pull so much angle there, but it's such a catch-22 because it changes your whole trajectory. Such a rhythm-based course. You see him go a little bit wide there coming off the last inner clip, open the door up for Wallman, but and I think Wallman probably sitting on nothing he can't drive back from. But
no. But definitely, definitely a disadvantage going into this second run of the battle. So I think we're getting back up to the line here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a good start for the Finn. We got 2 of them trying to make their way in, but there can only be one. Was lining up for the second half of this first battle of the evening.
So we are on the line and ready. And
Here we go. Sorry, Joe.
No, you're good.
Second battle. Tim Robbers in the chase. Sitting on an advantage. That's not a good start for Robbers, though. Super shallow, way offline, as Wallman, the Finnish driver, really locked in right now. But Tim Robbers getting to the door of the Finnish driver. I think he just knows he has a little bit of an advantage. Not sure if that start's going to help Tim, though, as really solid lead run from Viljami Wallman. And from what I could see in the lead position, Tim just sacrificed way too much in his chase, as you'll see on the bottom right of your screen.
Yeah, that, again, sometimes you can take it too easy, unfortunately. And I think that might be what we saw there. And the question is, will the judges think that that was too much of a fumble to have it go around? But we do have a call already in. So, slide him left for Tim, slide him right for Viljami, in the middle for an OMT. 1, 2, and 3. Tim Robbers taking the win.
So he did end up missing that first outer clip, but I think just the consistency of the proximity for the entire runs why Tim got that's not over for Wallman.
No.
And there is some speed in that car. You could see it. Just unfortunate that it was all over basically on the start, but he'll have a chance to drive back from that when he's got the opportunity. Again, with a lot of drivers not being here, but Yuna Warunen now going to be going up against Tim Robbers, and the winner of that is sitting pretty in this first part of our European wildcards of our preliminary stages.
Yeah, looking very, very good over here overall. Let me get this graphic on up here. Happy, but it is. We will roll with it for now. So Tim Robbers up against Yuna Warunen. Tim still in that A90. The graphics disagree with me on that. But we will see here. So, getting him up to the line and ready to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tim Robers, if he makes it through, that's something that we'll have to tweak for tomorrow. We are the interns in this scenario, so please don't. But Warmup, super cool story from him. Obviously, another one of the Finns out here trying to make it through, but also a member of Black Smoke Racing.
There it is.
If you are even remotely familiar with anything happening in the European drift scene right now, this car is going to look very familiar to you. And it even sounds the part, looks the part.
Oh, it's sick.
It's probably one of my favorite cars on the grid. Super stoked he made it. Still has to go through one last push to be able to make that final top 16 for the chance to be the world champion. But this car is beautiful, and we'll at least get 2 chances to look at it here this afternoon.
Yeah.
So, it's super cool to see the IRL representation as well. Obviously, this being a replica of Black Smoke Racing's car in Drift Masters. But why am I leaving the server? That's not what I want to do at all.
That would not be a good choice.
No, that'd be really bad. Resume is the button I was looking for. Good lord, that was almost a disaster.
Pro tip: don't forget to hit resume.
I pressed escape and started to panic.
Yeah. Cool. So
All
we
right.
are getting ready for this battle. We are at the line. Tim Robers in the lead. Yuna in the chase, and we are off. Here we go. So that big wagon getting gapped by Tim. And again, I think we might be seeing a story forming for how Tim's day is going to go as that Black Smoke AMG catching on up, shooting Black Smoke up into the air. Looking very, very good. Really making up on that gap. And there we go. So how do we think that the judges will feel about a run that starts at a big disadvantage and slowly makes their way back up? That is now one of the big questions we must ask ourselves.
Honestly, Tim must have been spending some extra time with the drag strip because he's been jumping these lights perfectly every time. Opening up that gap immediately. Obviously, there is a chicane, but it can only do so much when the other driver just doesn't leave the line at the same time. Yuna did a really, really good job of closing that gap. In comparison to Wallman, who had the same sort of issue. You see, he still hits all the zones, just kind of picks really good opportunities to cut some angle out of the car, which shows you how fast that wagon, that Mercedes wagon, which on diesel power, you can see it just spooting a little bit of black smoke here and there. Thus the name. But it's a same song, different chorus for Robers, but Warren did a much better job of coping with that disadvantage off the start. So we'll have to see now if Roberts does the same thing that he did in his last chase again, or if he gets a chance to correct it.
And we will see here as they are lined up and ready to go here. Again, the downside to having such a fast car is all of a sudden you have to figure out how to keep it behind a slower car, especially at the start. As our lights are off and away we go, let's see what happens.
Rober's doing the thing you should be doing as a chase car, getting a little bit of a jump start. Warren in the lead position now. Really good. He's been doing that all day in practice, using the rear end of that car, getting so close to those 2 walls. Such a risky maneuver to end your run so early. Rober's hasn't really had a retort yet. Goes a little bit shallow, second to last outer zone as we are already coming across the line. Not the best chase from Rober's in terms of angle and consistency. Had the proximity, though, which Warren didn't. But Warren, what a great lead run.
Yeah, Warren really, really showing that sometimes you don't need the fastest car to really put on a show in the lead. But I think Tim is banking on the fact that putting that gap in his first run is going to be the undoing of his opponents. But it might catch him out later. You never know. But something like that might be the deciding factor for every run. And it does seem I had never seen Tim drive before his first round in ESDA, and I gotta say, it's been the same every time. That it's just the same run over and over. Really clean, really fast. Not as much angle in the chase as one might want, but it's hard to ignore that proximity as our judges are bringing us a call. So slide him left for Tim, slide him right for Yuna, in the middle for an OMT, and 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So Tim Robers taking the win. But we will see if that is going to continue throughout. I have been kicked from the server.
What'd you do?
I don't know. That's not good.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Who did you say about whose mom?
I didn't say anything about anyone's mom. I promise. Pat, back me up on this one. As we are back in, here we go.
But yeah, so here's the thing now. Tim does have those 2 wins over the other 2 drivers. Again, this is going to be a little bit more. There's going to be a little bit more faces to names here. So Yuna and Wallman will now battle. The winner of that gets to go against Tim again. So Tim may have used all the tricks in his book already. Because if I'm Yuna or if I'm Wallman, I'm calling him by his last name because his first name's very difficult and I don't want to embarrass myself again. But if I'm either one of those 2 drivers and I got gapped off the start both times, I'm ready for it now. So Tim, his next battle, which is his most important, is going to have to bring the heat and then some if he wants to be the group winner and make it into the top 16 tomorrow.
But to do that, he will have to do another battle. And who will that battle be? You might ask yourselves. And it will be the 2 who are on their last leg now. So now, this battle, the loser does go home for the year. So, a lot more on the line.
Yeah, that's another thing to add, too, is that this is your end of your season.
Yep.
To get so close and be the first person or the last person cut from your region, to make that top 8 in the regionals, to get this far and then just to be one step away is a hard pill to swallow. So we'll see who will be going against Tim Robers for the run back. It'll be a Finnish driver. Will it be Viljami Wallman for FDT, or will it be Black Smoke Racing's Yuna Warnen?
And we will see here. Our driver is going to get him up to the line. So, a few more battles for group number 1. It might have felt a little short. We just did have, again, Nico Stalia, an IRL event. Very good for him, really. Like, I can't... Sorry that I'm gushing about it, but that's just so cool.
Yeah, that kid's been killing it, man. Like to get to drive in Poland in front of a stadium filled with people. If this is it, and it's not, but if this is it for his drifting career, that's already a high note that a lot of people that have been doing this a lot longer and they're a lot older than him can't really say. And now he's at the FIA Motorsports Games in Valencia, Spain, representing not just the sport of drifting, but the sport of sim drifting as well. And I don't think we could have a better person doing it. So super stoked that I'm bummed that he's not here. I was excited to see him drive, but I mean, there's out of all the places he could possibly be, that's not a bad one.
I'm not going to be too upset about that, as we are getting everyone up to the line here. I'm hearing some revving here. Again, that beautiful AMG, the beautiful S15. And we are off. Here we go. So, Viljami in the chase, catching up to Yuna. Yuna really putting in a great little gap between the 2 cars. But is Viljami playing it safe, or is there really just not the pace in that S15? Both drivers matching angle beautifully. Looking very, very good. And across the line, there we go. Clearing up that proximity. But I think Yuna might have done a little bit better on that run. Again, both drivers, really good runs, but that gap might be the undoing, especially on a competition where the driving's at this level. Anything matters. You got to go for every little thing you can. And being safe, sometimes it is good. So we'll see. We will see. I just hope that that is not the undoing.
No, and it's super tough here too, because as much as I do love this track and it's so steeped in history, not just with sim drifting and real life drifting or the ESDA or whatever, it's not long. You don't have a lot of opportunity to make a mistake and go, okay, well, I'll gather it up. You know, I'll mentally reset. I'll try and fix something the back half of the run. You don't really have that opportunity. You're basically right back to it all over again. Or you're almost at the end of the run by the time you finish the first run. Like, you do not have time.
No.
You need to be on it throughout this entire section, which kind of makes it almost a perfect venue for a world final.
Yeah, I personally, big fan of shorter drift tracks. It also, yeah, as Keenan said, everything is so important, and they are off, and let's see what happens here in this run.
Yuna Warren dragging the brake just a little bit. already before we get to the first corner. Again, winner this will battle Tim Robers on the run back to see who will be the last European in that top 16. Really good job from Black Smoke Racing's Yuna Warren, but Viljami Wallman trying to stay in this fight. Not really pulling away. Again, has a tire drop in his chase. Yuna Warren, Black Smoke, call him Black Shadow, was right in the pocket of the S15 of Viljami Wallman that entire time. Didn't really see, and maybe could have pulled a little bit more angle, but other than that, Joe, this one's going to be a little tough for the judges, I think.
So let's take a look at the drone cam from run number 2. We have it. We might as well use it. I totally have just been cruising all the tech issues that I forgot. We have drone cam, which is amazing. So here is first run 1. So Yuna in the lead, Yuna in the chase, Viljami in the lead, and Yuna really coming in and showing that he can gain that proximity, maybe cutting a little bit of angle, but the drone does give that away a lot more than the track cams we have been watching. And that is an important note as well. We're watching from track cams, usually judges watch from chase cam. We also have a drone cam as well. Really opens up a lot more little small things that you might catch on that the track cams, while they look very pretty and I prefer to watch a drift comp from them, for judging it can make it a little bit hairier overall. But again, Yuna really just putting that gap in, and I don't see how we can overcome that. So we do have a judging call here. We are bringing it on up. There it is. Cool. So slide him left for Yuna, slide him right for Viljami, in the middle for an OMT, and 1, 2, and 3. So Yuna Warren moving on. So we have a rematch, actually.
Yeah, we were going to get one either way. Tough loss for Viljami Wallman. That is going to be the end of his ESDA competition for the year. Still a hell of a run. Sucks that it had to go out so early, but one word for Yuna Warren's run there against him was confident. Just nice and confident, didn't try to gain time, didn't try to lose time, just ran his runs, did everything he knew how to do. He's going to need to do that again against, mathematically, statistically, the highest seed in this bracket. It is Tim Robers. He's already got 2 wins. Warren needs to just match him right now to be able to have a hope to make the top 16 tomorrow. The winner of this moves on and makes the world final. The loser goes home. The last possible chance to race your way into the top 16 final is right now. Will it be Hashira's Tim Robers, or will it be Black Smoke Racing's Yuna Warren? And we'll find out in just a minute.
And let's see here. Tim coming into this without a loss. So Tim, if he loses this, let's get a second try at it. Because again, he has yet to put a loss on the board here. Yuna, though, on the back foot, but Tim is just looking so strong. And let's see what happens here as we are off. Here we go. Tim in the lead. Yuna in the chase. Now Yuna giving it all he has, trying to get proximity to that Supra, and is doing a very, very good job of it. Tim might have a closer battle on his hand this time around. Yuna really does have it, and really diving into that hairpin and across the line. Yuna's playing like he's on that last leg too. He's giving it everything he has. The boss music has kicked in.
To your point, it is a double elimination even for the preliminaries, so he will have to beat Robers twice. Robers is chilling right now. He's just running what he knows how to run. But like he just coming off that last win from Warren, download complete. He knows how to jump the starts now. Obviously not a problem with proximity. Robers is going to be on the back foot if he doesn't pull something out of his rear end here on the chase run, because that was a sick, our first of many sick chase runs from Yuna Warren and Black Smoke Racing.
No, that was of all so far today, that was the best chase run that we have seen. Just so, especially with how much drama that dive in on that last hairpin. I'm gonna want to watch that from the drone cam after run 2 here, as we're getting them up to the line and ready for run number 2. What a dive.
Really well controlled.
Yeah, what a dive on that. That was amazing.
That is a man who's familiar with his chassis. We get ready for the second half of this run. Tim Robers is going to have all the real estate of the side of that Mercedes diesel to try and make something happen and end this right here and right now. Are they going to go OMT? Are they going to go again? We'll find out after this run. Really good initiation from Yuna. He's been doing that all day, but Tim Robers right there with him, actually killing a little bit of angle in chase, trying to stay with that Mercedes as foot to the floor for Black Smoke Racing. You see the black smoke pouring out of the front of that Mercedes-Benz as Tim Robers had the proximity, Joe, but just wasn't as consistent with the angle. I think he got closer at some points, But the more I looked at it, just a little wavers and little hiccups from Tim Rovers, this might be the first scratch in his armor of the evening.
And let's take a look at it from the drone cam again. That helps us pick it apart, because I think so far today, this is the first one where you can have a discussion about which direction this battle is going to go. So off initiation, Yuna giving a little bit of space, nothing crazy, not at all, not even a car width, keeping it right up on Tim, cutting a tiny bit of angle, and then through here, and this is where it really got crazy, diving in right up on the door. If this was real life, that door card would be dented in, and what a battle won. And let's see for run number 2 here. And again, now Yuna in the lead, Tim in the chase. Now Tim knows all of a sudden this is a close battle, really putting it up on the door, about the same space as Yuna, honestly. And again, diving in, cutting angle, and a little bit of wavering. And overall, I don't know. This, to me, prime OMT territory. I had to say.
Yeah, if anybody who's watched battles here, whether it's real life, Forza, anywhere, that hairpin is such a hot spot, because it's the best place, a decel zone. It's the best place to try to make something happen in the chase. Yuna went for it. It worked out. Is it going to pay off with a win and a bracket reset? Is it going to pay off with an OMT? As long as he keeps his world final hopes alive, I think it's still a dub for the Black Smoke Racing driver. But Tim Rovers, in his chase, safe. It looked safe. He tried to keep the proximity at all costs, which works out. But when you've got a chase run that Yuna's got, it's you're leaving it in the judges' hands now. I'll put it there.
The judges definitely can now pick apart this run and really pay attention to every little thing, as we'll take a look at it side by side as well, just to try and see differences, if any, that really stick out. Because again, both of these drivers did a really good job, and watching it side by side, I am kind of shocked. Usually it sticks out who has better angle in the chase, who has better angle in the lead. But right now, to me, this is pretty good. So we do have a call and we do have an explanation. I'll do the call. Keenan, I'll let you explain it, as you tend to do very well with that. So slide him left for Tim, slide him right for Yuna, in the middle for an OMT. And a reminder, if Yuna wins, we're going again. So 1, 2, and 3. So Yuna does take that win. So we're going to line him up and do it again. So Arrow, why was that call made?
Yeah, super easy, actually. Tire drop from Rovers in the lead. Something that we may have missed on our end. I also think that Rovers' lack of angle in his chase didn't help at all, but the big point from the judges was deduction partially forced the call because there was a tire drop in the lead from Rovers. And like we said on broadcast, he has to lose 2 battles. So I think he just went into that a little bit too lackadaisical, a little bit too safe. This is ESDA, man, and not even that. We've already weaned the best drivers into the best of the best.
Yep.
You can't leave anything on the table any of these runs.
No, I am so happy that we did the format we did this season. Now we get to see the best of the best battle, as you said. So here we go. Tim Rovers in the lead, Yuna Warren in the chase, and let's see what happens here. So Tim in the lead, looking very good. Yuna really pouring angle in now in the chase. He sees how close it is. Now he knows if he really goes for it, really adds that angle. That is the thing, and here we go. No dive, leaving the space, but right up through that inside clipping point. I gotta say, I love a good inside clip.
Man, 2 V8s, one a little bit more traditional under the hood of that Supra, one pouring out that black smoke. I gotta tell you, if I wasn't a fan before of Yuna Warren, and I am now, not that I dislike any of the Hashira boys. I know some of them are watching right now, cheering their teammate on, but that is just so well controlled. Much better job on the lead that time. Maybe a little bit wide on that inside clip. You kind of want to apex just a little bit later. You get a better run off the corner. It's not necessarily a judge zone, but when you hit the trap of going to that inner clip a little bit early, it makes you push wide and just kind of leaves the door open for the chase car. So I think that's really the only mistake, air quotes mistake, I saw from Rovers there, Joe. But again, Warren doing everything he needs to do. And with Rovers, I think the only reason we want this is going to the bracket reset is Rovers left some stuff on the table in the chase as well. So he needs to bring everything in the kitchen sink to go up against Yuna Warren, who's looked so good in the leads right off his first practice run this afternoon.
Yeah, and again, the inside clip giveth, the inside clip taketh away. It's really easy to do a drop there. So our driver's back up to the line and ready to go. So this is for all of it. This is the battle. Unless it goes to an OMT, which, with the way that these drivers are doing, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But this is it. So both drivers know, gotta leave everything out on the table here. And Tim, let's see what he can do in the chase. And they are off.
This is for all the marbles, ladies and gentlemen. Who will be the final European in the World Final Top 16? Not the best start for Robers, as really good start for Una Warren. Look at that Mercedes swanging it back to back, but right there in the chase is Tim Robers. He's trying to put some pressure on to force a mistake from Una Warren, but I don't think it's going to happen. Who's going to move on? Man, it's going to be really close. Now, again, almost the same run from both of them both times, and as somebody saw and pointed out, Tim Robers with that interclip number 1 tire drop, no rumble is allowed on the lead or the chase.
Yeah, no, that might have been the undoing here. Honestly, it is getting that close overall, really. So again, the judges a lot to pick apart now, because again, there's a discussion. Both drivers really good, and watch, keeping it on that track, looking very, very good. And now when the drivers are turned around, let's take a look at it one more time. Again, Una Warren.
We got no Nika Stilia. I want a Una Warren t-shirt. That was sick.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, no,
look at how he fills those zones, man. The first two.
Oh, it's great.
It's so good.
Having a bigger car too really helps prove your point when you're doing it as well. And again, looking great. Tim really trying and hanging on in that last inside clip, but not getting as close as he needed to. And that's my question. If we can take a look, I'm going to take a look at replay number 2. Looking really big, because here, this is what I want to see, that inside clip on the last run.
Very similar chase from Robers this time. This first one, not quite to the point where he's missing zones, but still would like to see a little bit more angle. It gets really aggressive there at the end, but hearing we get to get the first run again.
First run again,
where Robers is leading. Again, this is what costed him the big thing that costed him his first battle, why we're in the bracket reset. Again, winner of this moves on, loser goes home. Bracket's been totally reset at this point. Right there.
Yeah.
Might have been a tire off on the inner rumble for Robers.
We can that'll be something that the drone. That's
you're way ahead of me on that one.
There we go. So look at this. So throwing it in, looking good. Both drivers, all great, all good. Again, we're just nitpicking at this point because we're announcers, and that's all we gotta do. No, it's on the track,
brother.
It's all on the track. I think it's all there.
You know, because we don't have a call yet, I think you're right, but it's very close.
Yeah. So all on the track.
So I think this would be game over.
Have to be all on the track, all on.
Robers.
It's right there. I could see it going either way. We need the line camera from tennis for this, like right on the curb.
Have it like hockey, where you could change the billboards in real time. Just have like the curbs glow.
Yeah, exactly. Like curbs will light up when you touch it.
I think he may be in the clear. Well, he needed to bring it though.
Yeah, they did. They both did. Is the thing. They both really did. I don't know. And let's just see run 2 from the drone again for posterity's sake, because again, we could watch that all day. We really could. Okay, so we don't even need to watch the whole run, because guess what? We got a call. It is not unanimous for the first time today. So slide him left for Tim, slide him right for Una, in the middle for an OMT. Dai wants to see an OMT. Grizz goes for Una, and where does Slay J go? Una Warren with the comeback, taking the win and moving on to the 16 tomorrow. Woo!
So he will be your final European driver, making that top 16. Went with a war with Tim Robers. 3 battles it took to get it all done from start to finish. Notes from the judges was late decel from Robers in the final outer zone, and focused on proximity instead of mimicking plus proximity, which is again not enough chasing the angle, not enough angle in the chase from Robers, which is what I saw, which is what Slay and Grizz saw. It's such a minor thing, but that's why it took so much time for them to come to a determination. But Una, I think, just more consistent throughout the entirety of the run. It was close. It was a finals quality battle, which is what we expected at this point in the tournament, but it will be Una Warren and Black Smoke Racing with an opportunity to win it all in the ESDA World Final tomorrow and Saturday.
As we are here. So we will be just back after a short break as we get group number 2 ready for our ESDA Worlds. Catch you guys in just a minute. Welcome back, everybody, to ESDA Worlds. Yay. In the booth with me, as always, we got Keenan. Our judges.
Sorry. Yay. Threw me off.
Harold, McKinney, Gris, Skids, and Slay J are our judges on Drone Cam. As always, the real gem of the organization, Spawns FPV. We find ourselves at Tsukuba. Pretty stoked on that. Our group. So we are.
Thanks.
Yeah, we are in group number 2. So we did have a few no-shows, but let me just explain how this one's gonna work. Claudio is going to go up against Diego. The winner of that will go up to the winners finals, and Raul Pagado actually is ready to go as well. That's pretty cool.
So we got no Joao and no Murillo Sobrai.
Yep.
That's what I'm getting from this. Okay, cool. Again, that's kind of unfortunate. Really hard to predict your schedule months in advance. And then obviously there is a lot on the line here. We'll talk about it a bit more tomorrow when we get into that top 16, what these drivers are playing for, prizes and whatnot. But, if you got stuff to do, you got stuff to do. I remember I've seen before where somebody was making a tear through a bracket and then had to go because his family said, hey, we're going to the mall. You have to come with us. So
Yep.
it's not, unfortunately, it's not the first time and nor will it be the last. But I think we should have everybody on the right side of our bracket when we get there. But yeah, Una Warren is the first of 4 drivers that will make the top 16 as wild cards.
I
I don't know if that's
runs going on right now.
the Black Smoke Racing driver just earning their way through the EU side, and welcome to the Latin America side. So if you thought the pronunciations were bad before, boy howdy, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that in advance. As let's take a look at what our first battle will be. Here we go. We got Claudio Chuharika. Yeah, I was wrong, but I'm gonna try it again. Up against Diego Beltrami. Nissan versus Toyota. Very good. I'm excited for this battle. Once we're done with this, we got 2 more groups. So we'll get them up to the line and ready to go here. I am excited for these battles. I must say so myself. I'm hearing some backfire. Aren't cars just cool? 2 teammates, it looks like. Either that or one of them needs to change their outfit. It's just embarrassing.
So this is the first of several battles. Again, this is the Latin America side of the preliminaries here. Only one of these drivers will make it in as a wild card into the top 16 double elimination tomorrow. It will either be Diego Beltrami or it will be Claudio. Oh my God.
Yep.
Claudio Chuecura, both from one from Chile. Beltrami, just as from South America, I think also Chilean driver, judging by the livery. We'll see which one of the Chileans will move on here as our first of many battles starts in the Latin America side of the bracket.
And here we go. Claudio in the lead. Diego in the chase. Oh no, Diego just... It all goes south. I think we've already zeroed the run, but finishing up the run for the culture. You know, it's very rare that you get to do runs with your teammate. So, personally, I think you should finish it no matter what happens there.
Yeah, I don't think... You mean you see it right there.
Oh, but
Claudio
look at it again. The leader really threw it in and lost a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that one's, at least from my eyes, I don't think that one's on Diego at all. Claudio just threw it all at the wall and only half of it stuck, unfortunately.
Yep.
And kind of gave Diego nowhere to go. You'll get a really good look at it here in the second rip. Claudio just throws it all on the wall. Again, you can throw a big angle in that first corner, but it kills all your momentum. And obviously, Claudio was offline as well. Then Diego, this is not a track where you can kind of just pull the handbrake and resituate yourself. Every corner flows into the next so well. You don't really have an opportunity to get away with that. So unless I'm blind, which if you've looked at the production chat this afternoon, you know that I am. I think that one's going to be on Diego.
Yep.
Or Claudio, sorry, on the S15.
Yeah, so let's get him up to the line here and see what happens. Yeah, now on the live watch, and it's really hard to like catch everything on the live watch. It seemed like, oh, the Supra just straightened, but now on the look back, I do really think Claudio was the undoing of himself on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, worst case scenario, we can get the drone in the air and get a better look at it. But from what I caught from the, let's say, the judges' tower,
yeah,
as in chase cameras, it looked like Claudio just went, "I'm gonna send it," and went, "Oh no," and then just kind of didn't straighten out, but obviously missed the zone.
Yep.
And killed a ton of speed. So in the drivers' meeting notes, the first note as well is go big angle in turn 1 at your own risk. And if you want to know what the risk is, you just saw it.
We will get them all up here.
I'm not sure what's going on right now.
Yeah, looking pretty good overall here, but I don't know, that might have even been a hardware thing, but unfortunately a hardware thing still counts. So we are getting a reconnection from one of the drivers, it seems. That's what it would be. And again, here at ESDA, we do want to give everyone the best shot at performing as best as they can, because really it's not a win where your opponent isn't doing their best. Sometimes isn't very fun, and honestly, keep drifting fun.
Yeah, so just to parrot what we've already said, that will be fault on the S15, which is really lucky for Diego because he lost force feedback in the middle of the run.
Hey,
so had a technical
lucky
issue, and his teammate went, "No worries, bud. I'll just throw it in backwards in turn 1 to make it all even Stevens." But
yeah, right. So we're on the line. We're ready to go here. The turntables are turned. Claudio really sitting on a disadvantage going into this. So Diego, if he blows it, that's the only way you can really lose it at this point. So let's see what happens here. We are on the line. The lights are coming on, off. I'm hearing revving. Oh, I love it when just everyone's waiting on the line, burning each other out. And there we go. We are off.
The second running of this first battle, your Latin America side of the preliminary bracket. And that is a wall for Diego Beltrami. And well, I think we've got 2 zeros from 2 lead cars.
Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist.
I
think that second one might have been a little planned. But you know what? I'm fine with it. It's drifting.
There's a term that is used in the competitive Smash Bros. Community called a homie stock, and obviously tinfoil hat here. I think we just saw a homie stock in drifting.
Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, on the drone cam.
This is the first run.
Yeah, the first run, rose in way too much angle. The car just slows super nowhere to go. Very straightforward. Yeah. Second run, let's see how hard he really flows it. Yep, right into the wall. So our judges, we're not even going to bother with the overlay. It's an OMT. Everyone zeroed everything.
I'm
not upset about it.
There's a lot on the line here. I don't know if I'd be... I want to put this evil in the world and say that was intentional, because I don't think it was.
No. And even if it was, in drifting something like that, to me, yeah, it's like the homie tax. It's good. One of them had an issue, the other one had an issue, so they said, screw it, let's do it again. And you know what?
Yeah.
We're missing some drivers anyway. I'll watch more drifting.
Especially teammates, too. I don't think either of them wanted to win like that. So not bad. Not the end of the world. No. If you're unfamiliar with how OMTs work in drifting, it is just going to run that back all over again. Pretend we didn't see anything.
Yep. Let's do it again as our drone cam. Flying around. Oh. Up to the line, ready to go.
And this will be the 2 Chileans once again. Representing I believe, the only Chileans in competition remaining. I have to double check my notes before things come out of my mouth. Nope, we still have one more. Will be in the competition tomorrow. I think the only 2 in the preliminary bracket, at least.
So we're back up to the line. Take 2. Hopefully no one gets into the wall this time. And we are off. Claudio in the lead. Diego in the chase. Kind of slow. I think they want to put a show on for everyone. Here we go. Big initiation. Huge angle from the S15. Big angle from the Supra as well. Coming on through. There we go. Keeping it on the track. We do have a live run. Through the transition again. Ooh, Diego really darting in. But Claudio really wide. Major mistakes from both drivers. I think if Claudio can just put on a clean chase run, it's in the bag.
Yeah, that's better that they had some runs in. You know, obviously it's better than the first one. Sorry, I'm trying to do my job as a chat moderator at the same time. Everyone's speaking in different languages. And I already had to bop one guy. I don't want to make it two. But good start from the S15 there. Really good start from Claudio. Much better job in the initiation. Then you see just a little correction there from Diego. Does a good job in trying to get it back. And then just at almost a mistake out of sympathy. Once again, Claudio just goes in really deep. And Diego almost makes the exact opposite mistake. So lot for the judges to talk about, and not necessarily in the way you would want, as Claudio drops out of the server. I'm not sure if he's having a technical problem. This is, we talked about it a bit before, but it was more towards the beginning of the season. We are running these servers in the respective regions of the drivers. So you might see something a little wonky on the streams because we're rocking a crisp 143 ping right now. But the peer-to-peer for the drivers in their regions should be okay.
Yeah,
so if anything looks a little bit wacky, it's probably just on our side.
Give everyone the best chance they can to compete at the highest level they can. So we are off for run number 2.
The second half of this battle, still undecided. 2 teammates. First battle, the Latin America side of the preliminaries. Diego going a lot more conservative into turn number 1. It's what costed him a free win against his teammate, and why we're in this one more time situation. A little bit of correction there from Claudio in the chase. Diego in the Supra, just trying to get it done. Whoa. Claudio understeers in the center of the corner, knocks the door down of his teammate. But that one already looked a bit iffy, Joe. It looked like Diego was shallow coming out of the last unit clip. Again, lots for the judges to talk about, but I don't think necessarily in the best way.
And let's take a look at that run number 2 from the drone cam as well, because let's see what happens. Let's really see what happens here as we go on through there. Again, so in the lead, looking really great, coming on through the S15, doing everything he can to keep up, missing that outside zone from both drivers, but then bunk, just coming out of drift. Yeah. So, is unfortunate.
That's a tough one, because I think the Supra of Diego Beltrami was a little shallow in the exit. You'll watch it again, but with how much grip is in that S15 of Claudio, I think it wouldn't have mattered.
No.
See, he's on power. He actually really haven't had a chance to extend to the corner yet, so or extend the exit of the corner before he gets hit. And when you get hit on the wheel, it's kind of really either front or rear wheel. It's really difficult to kind of pull the car back. So it looked like he was going shallow. I think the contact was what caused that personally. But
yeah. So we do have a call in this battle.
Yeah, Scruffy.
Yeah, Scruffy, but slide him left for Claudio, slide him right for Diego, in the middle for an OMT. 1, 2, and 3 on the OMT battle. Diego Beltrami moves on, but being as it is double elim bracket, we'll see what happens here. So, Diego Beltrami up against, let's see here.
So this will be a bye run.
Yep.
I think by technicality for Diego. So this was a big win for Beltrami. He'll be moving into the winner's final because one driver, again, this is all based off seeding from the Latin America regional. It's not like we just picked random names out of a hat, which would be funny, but not what we did.
Nope.
So Bry is not here, unfortunately. So Diego gets a free pass into the winner's finals. That was a really important round 1. And because Joao Paula is not here, Raul Prigato is also finding their way into the winners finals. Again, Sideways X Gaming driver out of Brazil in the RX-8.
There is that RX-8.
Thank you, Chewy. Because wasn't really sure where I wasn't sure what to think, what to feel right now, and then Chewy has put me back in my center with gada gadi gada gada. Oh, thank you, Chewy. I'm gonna keep that hidden. That's gonna be a gift between me and you.
Interesting. An interesting take. So we'll get him back up here. And then, so the loser of this battle goes back and battles Claudio. So Claudio is not out yet. Let's get him up to the line.
Yeah, Claudio with the kind of the best possible scenario for himself there. Obviously, you don't want to lose a battle at all, but looking at I'm getting a little concerned now looking at the back of Raul's car because it says wall enemy. We have 2 walls, one that's already claimed some lives. So I'm hoping that isn't foreshadowing here for the Sideways X Gaming driver, the first Brazilian we are seeing in competition this afternoon or this evening.
So, the RX-8 might have its hood up.
It's letting the rotaries breathe. Actually, not even letting the LS breathe.
Oh, we are off. Here we go. Diego in the lead. Raul in the chase. Okay, big initiation from Diego. Raul really slow to initiate. Might have missed the initiation point. Might be sitting on a 0. We'll have to take a look. That RX-8 really looks like it is struggling. Yep, there we go for sure. Something's up. A drift car usually does not just snap around like that.
And not the run Raul was looking for at all, which is unfortunate because Diego's only gotten a chance to get stronger throughout the afternoon. Or I keep saying afternoon. One of us wakes up at noon and one of us does it. I'm sorry. But yeah, that car never looks settled. He gets the angle there and then immediately just straightens out. I don't know if it's a setup issue, it looks like a hardware issue because that is not the run Raul was looking for at all.
So let's get him back to the line and get ready for run number 2. Hopefully, we find out that there's an issue. We'll see.
What Gato is going to need. If there's ever a time to take a 5-minute, it is right now.
Yeah, we'll see. Or it might have just been nerves. You never know. Again, he's pulling up to the line, so see what happens. So, Diego Pagano in the lead. No, Raul Pagano in the lead. Diego Beltrami in the chase. And we are off. Here we go. Raul.
Second run of this battle. Again, Raul sitting on a huge deficit. Diego's going to give him the room to move. Does the wall enemy become an enemy of the wall? No, he dodges the first one. But because of that line, really had to choke up at outer zone number 2. Did Raul Pagato give Diego nowhere to go? Little bit of contact. Joe, something is not right under the hood of that RX-8.
No, something feels really off. It looks like he is fighting tooth and nail with that thing right now. As my replay also wants to fight with me tooth and nail here. Let's see. There it is. But yeah, that RX-8 just really just not wanting to play nice at all. It has flashes of brilliance and then just was not wanting to do anything. As we do have a call here, I think we know exactly what we're about to get. So slide him left for Diego, slide him right for Raul, in the middle for an OMT 1, 2, and 3. So Diego Beltrami moving on, but he will have to wait for one battle to happen here. So we got Raul and we got Claudio.
Gonna see if he can earn the chance to go up against his teammate once again, and then for whatever is going on in Raul's world right now, whether it's nerves or if it's a hardware issue or something to that regard, he needs to figure it out and fast. He had that opportunity to get that first loss where it doesn't really, it's not a big deal. You still get an opportunity to move on to the competition, and you only have one other driver because of dropouts and unfortunate situation here. He's only got one other person left to go up against Claudio Chuhaikura. Oh my God, I talked too fast for my own good. But yeah, that is. I don't know what's going on with the Sideways X Gaming car. If it's a setup thing, if it's a wheel thing. But now would be the time to kind of just breathe. You've got a battle under your belt. Just do what you know how to do. Because that looked out of character, I think is the nicest way to put that.
Yep, it really just did not look right. If you're in this battle, that definitely is not normal drifting for you in any way, shape, or form. So, again, just looking frustrating. So we're at the line. Here we go. RX-8 on S15. Raul against Claudio. They're revving up.
That is Brazil versus Chile. Claudio Chuhaikura in the S15 on the right side of the Chilean flag colors. On the left is the Brazilian Raul Pigato.
And there we go. Raul in the lead. Claudio in the chase. Throwing it in. The RX-8 looking a lot more confident now. Throwing it through the track. Ooh, big angle and causing a transition. Yeah, that RX-8 just, something seems up. And I have to say, I think that contact was on the RX-8. He really jackknifed out to some pretty crazy angle right before just getting clobbered. Unfortunate. There it is. Again, coming through that first zone, looking really, really good through the first transition, throws it in, and just loses all momentum. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like the rear tires are made of glue. Every time he gets really sideways, the car just comes. There's so much side bite in that RX-8. It comes to like a dead stop.
Yeah.
You'll see it right here. Like, it starts off really good. I'm like, okay, whatever he had going on, maybe he just forgot to load the tune or some sort of issue. Big flick and then just drop 10 mile an hour.
Yep.
That's not a decel zone. There is 2 decel zones on the course. It's your initiation and then right there going into the last turner clip. So that will, unless I'm missing something, be to the fault of Raul Pigato, who is back against the wall right now and needs something huge if he wants to continue this competition, as Claudio Chuhaikura, the Chilean, is sitting in the hot seat, or in the driver's seat, to go up against his teammate one more time, see who progresses in this tournament.
We'll find out here. Again, I think Claudio sitting on a very strong advantage right now. So I expect to see it unless something drastic happens during this run. A rematch. And there we go.
The second half of this battle, again, winner moves on, loser goes home. Winner moves on into the final. Who's it going to be? Is it Raul Pigato going to figure it out, or will Claudio Chuhaikura go up against his teammate once again? Raul in the chase position in the RX-8, giving a lot of room, and that's going to be game over for Raul Pigato. Just was unfortunately not his day. And Claudio Chuhaikura will be moving on in the S15 to go up against his teammate once again of Diego Beltrami. Again, I have no idea what was going on with Raul. It definitely looked like some sort of hardware issue or software issue. Something is not right in the Raul Pigato camp, and unfortunately that will be his ESDA World Final game over.
Yep, and official from the judges. Slide it left for Raul, slide it right for Claudio, and again, there we go. So we are up. We are ready to go here. So here it is. Diego Beltrami up against Claudio. So get him up to the line and ready to rip.
I'm sure these two teammates are appreciating this opportunity.
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately for Claudio, he has kind of dug himself a bit of a hole where he needs to beat Diego twice to be able to move on and join Yuna Waronen in the wild card spot and making it into the top 16 tomorrow. That's where all the big money is being played for. But again, we had a little bit of a rocky start, so especially now that Claudio's got some battles under his belt. He's got a win under his belt, but so does Diego. So a little bit more comfortable from both of them, hoping we can see the best of these two teammates as they go into fight for the final spot. For this Latin America, South America region. It's super huge region in the world of drifting. Brazil kind of the home of things down there, but obviously Chile out here representing. We'll see some Brazilians tomorrow. Some super cool cars.
Oh, yeah. So we are up to the line. We are ready. Everyone's revving.
It's Diego or Claudio. There will be a Chilean in the final drawing. The Finman, the finishman. But not a good start.
Yep, Diego in the lead, just walking away. Claudio doing everything he can at this point. Diego has a football field between the two of them, it feels like. Coming on through, there we go. The S15 starting to gain some form of proximity. The leader just doing everything he can, missing that last inside zone, but otherwise very unnotable lead run besides just being a million miles in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, as a chase car at this level, I think you have to be jumping the starts, and we've seen it in the European side of the bracket this afternoon. We've seen it now, where drivers are waiting for the go as the chase vehicle. That's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. There is no restart. Yep. There is no restart line this year, so you have to get going, or that's the risk that you run. So, audio having some issues, I think, as well, which isn't helping. But yeah, might have already thrown away his chance to run it back on his teammate just off the start there, Joe.
Yeah, really. Might not have been what was needed. So, Diego really sitting in on an advantage now after that run. See what happens here. I know the nerves alone at that point would just ruin me if I was in Claudio's situation. But we'll see what happens here. It is drifting. Anything can happen.
Anything can and will happen. Second run of this battle. If Diego wins, it's all over. Claudio wins, it gets all reset. We go again. Big angle from Claudio. We saw that in his first run, but it didn't really work out for him. A little tap from Diego in the Supra in chase. More angle from the Supra as he closes the door on the S15. Ooh, but he makes contact with Claudio on the transition.
Oh, no.
Diego may have just given it back to his teammate.
We'll have to see that one from the drone for sure. Let's see how that unfolded here. So again, Claudio in the lead, Diego in the chase. Throwing it in big angle, a little bit of a boot from his teammate. Coming on through. Again, a little wide on that inside clip, no big deal. Tire drop. And then there, yeah, that contract on the transition might have been the undoing here.
So it's kind of speculatory of whether that caused Claudio to have his zero in his lead, but obviously Diego, after that contact, was not able to get that car back to the proper line. So slide him left for Diego Beltram, slide him right for Claudio Chuhai Kura, and it's going to be obviously a one more time. 2 zeros. They're going at it again. So again, there still needs to be a winner. Diego wins 1. He's still good to go. Claudio still has to win 2. This basically resets what we just watched, and we're doing it all over again. Latin America getting some screen time here.
Oh, yeah. So
thank you, Mr. Randy Savage, for your input on that one.
Yep. Oh yeah. Sorry about that.
Thank you. It's much better.
I'm just. I would like a Slim Jim right now.
Indigestion.
Oh.
They any good? Slim Jims any good?
They're my guilty pleasure.
Fair enough. I don't think I've ever had a Slim Jim in my entire life.
Yeah. It is what it is.
I'm very particular about the meat that I put in my mouth.
You live your life however you want to live it. As we are getting ready here. Diego in the lead. Claudio in the chase. See what happens here. Okay, and we are off. There we go. Diego in the lead. Claudio in the chase. Let's see what happens. Diego flicking it on in. Oh, tapping the wall, straightening out that Supra. I don't know if it's a full straighten, but that definitely will be a deduction as Claudio dropping back, trying to avoid what is happening in the lead. Slow to angle. Both drivers getting that inside clip and across the line.
I don't think anybody wants to win. I don't think anybody's interested in winning. We just want to go forever. Unfortunately, not the best start for Diego. I think Claudio getting gapped was the best thing that could have happened to him because Diego would just...
Yeah.
Made some unfortunate mistakes in the lead position there. We saw him over-angling, tapping the wall.
Not good overall. Is my replay saying, I'm not your replay? There it is.
Okay. Yeah, you'll get a better look of it here. Diego, again, has the advantage. That's why he's got the start, but he taps that wall. which was not the last time we'll see that here. And then it goes way wide, which makes the run to the last corner so difficult. You see him kill a ton of angle, misses the zone there, super far to the inside. Actually does a good job of getting that car wide enough to not drop a tire on the inner clip. And a good job actually from Claudio to kind of not let those mistakes throw him off. You'll see that he checks up at the right points, he lets his teammate maneuver around. So Diego on the back foot here. The tables have turned. The turntables have turned, as you'd like to say.
Oh, yes, very much so. And again, now all of a sudden, both drivers, a lot of things that they could improve, and I think that will matter here as we are off.
So Diego needs a belter, and Claudio just needs to kind of keep it together here. Top of the wall for the S15 is Claudio in the lead position, but bounces off, continues on. A little bit wide on inner clip 1. He's going to drop a tire in the grass. Diego in the chase. Oh, goes for the big dive. Big flick from Claudio again. Kind of messes up his line a little bit. But Diego right there in the chase position. This one's going to be interesting to judge, I think. Because there is something there, but...
Yeah, we'll see. And I think that was even 2 tires off from that S15 in run number 2. Again, coming on through. Just a little bit of dirt behind the ears on all of it, you know?
Yeah, again, like I said a little bit earlier, this track is so momentum-based, it's kind of hard to miss a zone or go wide in one zone and have it not affect the zone after that, and after that, and after that, and after that. And you saw it on the bottom right of your screen where it goes a little bit wide in inner clip 1, and then just you have 2 zones that you mess up after that.
Okay, so slide him left for Diego, slide him right for Claudio again. A reminder, if Claudio takes this win, we will be going again. 1 for Claudio, 2 and 3. So... line them up. Let's do it again.
I mean, we've had 2 regional finals here to decide 2 wildcard positions, Joe. We've had 2 bracket resets. The last one, Una Warren took it for Black Smoke Racing, brought it all the way back. And in this one, it's the 2 Chilean drivers. As Claudio Chuaicura making up for his first round loss against his teammate. And Diego Beltrami now is the one on the back foot. As the bracket is reset, it is a more traditional of an outcome. The winner will move on as your Latin America wild card, and your loser will go home.
Let's see what happens here. We are going to get him back to the line. So, super stoked to see this. I want to see 2 Chilean drivers drive very fast right now.
They've been getting better and better the more confident they get too. So I don't think they're having the same issues that the Europeans did, where it's super late, super early. I think the worst case scenario, especially considering they're from Chile, but I think for some of the Brazilians, it might be getting there. It might be about 8:30 p.m. for them.
Hard to get there, yeah.
Man, just nerves. This is a super big stage. And had to work so hard just to get this far. You have so much weight on your shoulders of, am I going to be able to compete in the big show tomorrow? A whole season of driving, practice, tuning. It's all come down to this. Or am I going to be not just taken out by my teammate, but just one step on the ladder too short to be able to make it? Whenever you're ready, guys.
I'm sure there is a discussion happening somewhere. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us, everyone. We are in our final battle of group number 2. We got 2 more to lock in our final wildcard slots for tomorrow. The World Finals, top 16, double elimination. I'm hearing engines rev up. I think we'll see a battle here very soon.
It's been a heck of a season. Our first season with the World format. Brought us some highs, brought us some lows, as it would. And it's all come down to this weekend here in Japan at Tsukuba Circuit. A iconic venue, obviously, again, not just in sim drifting, but in drifting in general. I feel like a lot of us first exposure to competitive drifting, especially those of us with back pain, seeing D1 GP here in the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah. Iconic time, too. I think we all
the
kind
best
of...
drivers in the world, yeah.
We're all of the age we kind of grew up on that, you know? Here we go. Getting ready. Diego in the lead. Claudio in the chase.
teammates, 2 Chileans, 2 countrymen. Only one of them can join the Finnish driver. And the wild card slots to be able to make that top 16, it will either be Claudio Chuaikura or it will be Diego Beltrami. We'll find out right now as the second half of this battle starts.
And here we go. Diego in the lead, Claudio in the chase. Throwing it on in. There we go. Looking very smooth from both drivers. Big angle from Diego in the lead. Claudio having to drop a tire to catch up. Almost coming out of drift even. Trying to catch up to that Supra. Does seem Diego's on a good run. There is a tire drop from both drivers and across the line. I think Claudio might be on the back foot this time.
Yeah, some mistakes from both for sure. Claudio doing his best job, I think, so far. Really good on the wall. Diego actually went shallow on the wall. It's what caused that gap to open up, but fell for the trap, though. You see the lead driver make a mistake and open the gap up. It's so easy. Like, oh, no, they're pulling away and starting to cut corners, and you saw that with interclip number 1 from Claudio in the chase position. You'll see it right here. Watch the Supra in the lead position. He goes a little bit shallow. Claudio's actually super deep in OZ1 and goes, oh no, I'm getting gapped. So he skips the zone there and grabs the rumble strip, which is a no-go zone. And because he hits the rumble strip, the front end walks away from him. It's not the first time we've seen that in that S15. So kind of just fell for the trap and fell for a mistake from his teammate. So I don't want to say it's even right now, but definitely some judging points for both going into the second run of this battle.
We're getting up to the line. Okay. So we are on the line. We are ready to go. Okay, and we are off. Here we go. Claudio in the lead. Diego in the chase. Throwing it on in. Big angle from Diego. Having to drop back due to it, but Claudio in the lead looking very confident in that S15. The most confident we've seen him. One tire drop for sure. And again, getting into the bumper of his teammate, sending him off out into the Shadow Realm.
Hey, I know those guys. That's funny.
Hey,
topical. We'll get into that probably a little bit more tomorrow, but unfortunately, I think Diego threw this one away all by his lonesome.
Yep.
Claudio had his mistakes in his chase in the first run, but nothing that was a zero. Hits his teammate there, does Diego in the back bumper, and then right here just gets him again. Lead vehicle can't transition. That causes the spin. So I think this one is... Unfortunately, Diego had the advantage going into this one. We might see 2 underdog stories.
I'm
2 in a row.
Too hard about that. That gives us a good sign for tomorrow as well. Stoked about that. So let's take a look at it from the drone cam and see just how that unfolded again. We do know they got into each other, and it was just the tiniest overlap, and they caught up on each other. And when you're transitioning like that, even getting the car caught a little bit can really throw you off a lot of the time. And yeah, I think Diego is just hungry. Looking at how close he is. Yep, and there's a little tiny getting caught, and that's all he needed.
I think Judge is just doing their due diligence here as we watch back the second run from the drone camera. Again, big angle from Diego. He's been doing that all day. And then just the same thing, kind of starts panicking, goes, I gotta catch up, And you see right here, just kind of off cycle, catches the rear bumper or the rear quarter of his teammate and Claudio in the S15. And Claudio, I mean, it would have taken a hell of a driver to save that. So no, I don't think we're having the discussion of mistakes or whatever. But you see right here, I talked about it a bit earlier. It was deep in the per zone. Yeah, well, we got a call here.
There we go. So, slide him left for Diego, slide him right for Claudio in the middle for an OMT 1, 2, and 3. So let me explain that just for a moment here. So they've deemed the fault on that contact actually from the S15. They're saying that the tire drop in the outside zone ahead of time caused enough momentum loss that Diego had nowhere to go and just was trying to deal with it, and that was why the contact was made. So there we go. That is how group number 2 unfolded. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break here at ESDA. We're on to group number 3 here at Worlds. So we'll catch you all in just a little bit. welcome back, everybody. The ESDA World Finals. We're in the top 16. We're seeding the final 4 for our top 16 right now. In the booth with me, we got Keenan Kusin.
Hello.
Our judges today, Harold McKinney, Grizz Kids, and Slay J. And then our drone cam, as always, is Spawn's FPV. We find ourselves at Tsukuba Circuit. And we find ourselves in group number 3. So here we go. Looking good. We have one no-show, just a heads up. So that's going to be the story, kind of the story of the afternoon, unfortunately, is that there's some drivers who were available and some that were not. Really bummed about this one because the dude's a ripper. Barupe Purewall is not here. So he will, obviously, that will be the end of his bid to be the ESDA World Champion. But we've got some rippers to take his place right off rip. Braden Swan, Art of Motion. You want to talk about a guy that's familiar with this racetrack. You want to talk about a guy familiar with us. AOM on the side of a door of a sim drift car is a warning to anybody they're going up against. Another person, your 2023 champion, Ethan Minima, who has, for some odd reason, made it as difficult as he possibly could have on himself. He just bought himself a VR headset, and he's using it for the first time today. So that can only go one way, either incredibly or terribly. That's 2 different ways. We have Noah Stanley in the car that's maybe about the most angry I think I've ever seen. Typical Team Hashira stuff, another Hashira member. Zealous as well from Shadow Realm. Again, we talked about them a bit earlier. Shadow Realm has been a huge help with us behind the scenes. Not just with stuff that you can't see, but stuff that you can. They helped us get our first ever car pack out. They've been invaluable this season. We'll have probably a better chance to give him a proper thank you tomorrow. I don't think Koruworks would be here without the good word from Shadow Realm either. So been super stoked to have them driving and helping out where they can. Just a really, really awesome group of dudes. So that is who is fighting for that last spot. It will either be Ethan Minima, Jonathan Casillas, who currently isn't in this, sir. Oh no, that's who Zealous is. I'm dumb. Braden Swan or Nolan Stanley. I keep thinking of saying Noah Stanley, but it's not been Noah Stanley. Never has been. So that'll be a easy first round win for Jonathan Casillas, and who'll be his reward going up against Braden Swan. So really, really tough rip for Jonathan, but he's going to make, again, he's got that one loss that he can take, but Braden Swan is going to try to put an end to the run right here. It's the glowing AOM on the door. That heart's beating. Hey, there we go. So we are on the line. We are ready to go, and we are off. Here we go. Jonathan Casillas in the lead. Braden Swan in the chase, throwing it on in that 370Z. Looking very, very good from both drivers. Jonathan just looking very smooth and calm, which in this situation, big angle from as well into that inside clip.
Ooh, not gonna make it happen.
Maybe the tiniest bit of contact there, but honestly, in that situation, no harm, no foul, in my opinion. But the tire drop from the chase would be the bigger oopsie, in my opinion.
Really aggressive start for the Shadow Realm driver, Jonathan Casillas. Unfortunately, it did not really work out for Braden Swan. Just doing Braden Swan things in the lead, really consistent. Right here is where it kind of fell off the rails. He goes in deep, goes for the dive, but then really kind of has nowhere to go, Joe. He keeps the car drifting, but you see him wiggle, you see him shimmy shake. I'm not to take anything away from any of the other regions, but we are previously a North American-based league. A lot of our drivers and friends and fans all based in North America, one of the most competitive regions for us at least. So that's not something you want to be carrying into that second part of the run. But we've seen Jonathan do miracles before. Gonna have to see him do it again. Not necessarily a miracle, but he's gonna be definitely on the back foot here.
As we get him up to the line, that AOM logo, neon, reminds me of that Mustang car over at Petit Le Mans. Love the little feature. Love the lighting on modern cars these days. Always looks sick. I must just put that note in there. So Jonathan Casillas in the lead. Braden Swan in the chase. Let's see what happens here. And hearing a lot of revving. We are off.
The second run of this first battle of the North American side of the bracket. really deep in the zone was what he did so well the first time is a Shadow Realm driver, but tapping off the wall. Braden Swan gives him a hey, how you doing? Keeps it going, but really deep on the first zone, paid the price in the second zone. Will that be the end of Jonathan's run here? And obviously going shallow on the exit, not helping his case.
No, shallow on the exit is, you always want to end with an exclamation point. So let's take a look at run number 2 from the drone. There we go. So, again, the first run, not a lot of drama, honestly, just a good, decent run, but here we go. So, through the transition, little tap on the wall and a fix from the chase. Again, small mistake, but really no harm, no foul. And here we go. This is, I think, of all the things, this was the worst one. Just not getting enough power down. It almost seems like the car really just bogged down, and we're...
Oh, he's just in the car. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. He's just in the SR car.
We're getting a lot of Keenan. Come on now. He's not in Shadow Realm. Either it's a joke or you're really messing it up here.
No, I saw Shadow Realm on the door and just assumed. I am a moron.
My gosh.
That's my bad.
So, slide him left for Braden Swan. Slide him right for Jonathan Casillas. In the middle for an OMT 1, 2, and 3. But that is not the end. Jonathan. We'll be seeing him in just a little bit on the loser side of the bracket. So up next, here, we're going to have Nolan Stanley against Ethan Minima. And again, you touched on it earlier. I got a message earlier today that basically said, got a VR LOL. So 5 hours of VR time, and Nolan Stanley in the most cursed front-end swap I think I've seen yet from Hashira. 911 Cup car. Front end. I think that's a Cup car. It's too wide to be the street car, man.
Yeah, it looks like a street, like the Cup car.
Cup, or like the RSR, maybe even. GTE. Shout out GTE. Gone but not forgotten.
Yet.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, this is all Hashira. Unfortunately, again, we only have one person from these prelims moving on as our wild card member. Obviously, I think the heavy favorite here is going to be our 2023 overall champion, Ethan Minima. Did not quite have the top 8 showing in the North American Regional that he would have wanted. And then obviously coming into here with the VR headset, that could help or hinder Joe. I know some people who have switched to VR and will never go back. But what a lot of them say is that first couple of days, even the first week, is really, really tough to get acclimated. So we'll see if it pays off for Ethan or if it might be his Achilles heel here. But he's going to have his teammate, Nolan Stanley, to go up first rip here.
Yeah, getting up to the line and ready to go here. So we are on the line. Ethan Minima in the chase. On VR, it's definitely going to throw him for a loop. I know personally whenever I've done, I don't do a lot of VR racing, but every time I try it, after I'm used to it, it feels a lot better. But at first, it throws everything for a loop. Well, let's see what happens here. Nolan Stanley in the lead. Ethan Minima cheating on up on the line, and we are off. Here we go. Nolan in the lead. Ethan in the chase. Big initiation from both drivers. It's almost like they're teammates and they practice together, really tucking on Ian. And Ethan does not seem to be fazed about the whole change of perception that he's dealing with right now. And coming on through the last inside clip, almost a flawless run from both drivers. Ethan, literally the only complaint, and this isn't even a complaint, the only way any of them could have done better is Ethan could have been even more glued to the door of his teammate.
Yeah, I mean, the deepness on OZ1 from both of them is probably the most commitment we've seen all day. Not the best chase run we've seen from Minima, just lacking some angle and some commitment. But you know, I said it a little bit earlier. I don't want to put it all towards the VR headset. It will help him in the long run. It's just so much for him to get used to in one day. But if he's been playing with it all day, you know, why take it off and go back to the single screen? I feel like that's just going to throw you off even more. Yep. So Ethan taking a risk. I don't know if that's what caused this here, but you saw him just like lack a little bit of angle in his chase run. But yeah, still, you can tell, as you said too, you can tell they're teammates.
Yeah, again, a lot of practice together shows. And honestly, every time I've competed against a teammate, those are the most fun battles. Because A, you want to beat your teammate. Let's not kid ourselves here. But B, you practice a lot together, so you can really throw it in. There's a lot of confidence, and it shows in the driving. So I think we're lined up and ready to go for run number 2 here. Okay. I'm seeing some lights. I think we're getting readies from everybody. Okay, lights are on, lights are out, and away we go.
All right, second run of this teammate battle. Ethan Minima, your 23 champion, trying to go back-to-back, but he's going to take his teammate out to do it. Good start for Minima. Nolan a little bit shallow in the first outer zone, but he's going to use that to catch back up to his teammate. Ethan Minima is pulling away at every opportunity, but Nolan right to the rear quarter panel. They're bumping and banging to the last quarter here at Tsukuba.
Yeah, maybe a tire drop from both of them on that last inside clip. We can take a look at it side by side, or let's take a look at the drone cam. There we go. So first things first, this is run number 2. So getting that Supra right up to that Supra, catching on in. I think overall, looking back at from the drone so far, I think Ethan had better proximity in his chase, but they're banging it on in and then dropping a tire for good measure. That might be enough for the undoing of Nolan. Then in run number 1, let's see what we saw here as well, because again, throwing it in right up to the wall. Nolan with a great entry, really just textbook. And Ethan always there, but not too close, playing it a little safe. Big angle from both drivers. And here's what I want to see. I don't think Ethan dropped a tire there.
No, I don't think either. I think it was just, I know what he's capable of, and I wanted to see more of it. But it might not matter. You see it on the bottom right of your screen. Ethan super deep OZ1. Nolan Stanley kind of still gets deep, but just not as deep as his teammate. And then here's where the wheels fall off the bike, unfortunately. Just goes in super deep, goes for the charge. That is a decel zone. I guarantee you judges are looking at that right now to see whether Minima over-decelerated or Stanley just got a little bit excited. Obviously, I'm leaning towards the latter as somebody who used to drive, who's washed up, I suppose, where you got gapped in that first corner and you go, well, I need to end the run with an exclamation point, and I'm just going to send it in as deep as I can and hope it sticks. The more I look at it, I'm not so sure. I'm definitely not leaning either way. Personally, Joe, I don't know what your eyes are showing you here.
I think on proximity, Ethan does take it. It's very hard to ignore that. And it's only hard to ignore that because everything else is really just textbook. There is a tire drop from Nolan and that contact, that last zone, and Ethan does not have that drop. So I think in a battle this close, those might, to me, those are the standout features overall. Because again, everything else is really textbook. Their angles are all matching both things. And again, it shows that they practice together. They're both approaching the track very, very similarly. But we do have a call here. It is not unanimous. Slide it left for Nolan, slide it right for Ethan, in the middle for an OMT. An OMT. One for Ethan. And which way does Grizz go? There we go. So Ethan Minima takes the win. And just a judge's note, there was a disagreement about who was at fault for that contact. One thinks that maybe a little over slow. The other one thinks no. So that's where we're at. So Ethan taking that win, knocking Nolan down into the loser's bracket. So I think that will be the next battle, actually.
Yeah, just as a note, for those watching at home, I have the judging or the drivers meeting notes right in front of me here. Going into outer zone number 4, the decel is the before the zone itself, before the corner. So obviously, what we saw there, one judge saying Ethan kind of over decelled, and then one judge, the other two judges voting that Nolan Stanley just got a little bit too eager and maybe charged a bit too deep. So it was really tough to call in the moment. I really thought that was Nolan. The more I watched, I went, I don't think Ethan really decelled, though. I think he just never got going, which kind of made that call tough. But neither of these two drivers are eliminated. Both of them are going to get another shot. Obviously, Ethan kind of looking good now. He gets the privilege to go up against Braden Swan. But Nolan has moved on into the loser's bracket where he will battle one of the biggest underdog stories, not from Team Shadow Realm, but in the NA regional, kind of somebody we were a little bit unfamiliar with, and drove his absolute heart out to make it into the top 8. Super huge result for him. I know he's just happy to be here, but being able to make that top 16 and be arguably one of the top 16 best sim drifters in the world will be a huge, huge, huge result for Zealous, a huge result for Jonathan Casillas, but he's got Nolan Stanley off a very tough loss to his teammate standing in his way.
And there we go. Just an update. Nolan Stanley will be leading first. Jonathan Casillas will be chasing first. So, get him up to the line.
Is this correct? Is this right? So right now we have... Yeah, Nolan is supposed to lead, so I don't know why they're
lined up incorrectly.
Both of them are very confident in being incorrect right now. That's my favorite pastime, personally.
Sometimes when you're competing, it pays off to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the seats kind of move around, too, because you move from one bracket to another bracket, so it's a little easy mistake to make. I don't know what they're going to do, you know. They're both just revving the nuts off it.
You know, sometimes that's all that matters.
There they go. Okay, I was worried there for a second. All right. So Jonathan Casillas in the chase in the only Shadow Realm car pack car in competition, which is eligible for those who didn't have a custom car, custom data.
Mm-hmm.
There's a handful of car pack cars in competition today. Driving out of Fresno, California. Going up against, again, fresh off the loss to his teammate, but wants to be able to get a chance to run it back, is Nolan Stanley.
And here we go. Nolan Stanley in the lead. Jonathan Casillas in the chase. Good start from both drivers. Right up on the door. Nolan, big angle, but keeping it in it. Looking very confident in the lead. Jonathan taking full advantage of that really good proximity. Cutting a tiny bit of angle. Trying to stay right on that door. I do not blame him at all. Really great run from both drivers on that. Honestly, can't fault anything with that one.
Would maybe like to see a little bit more angle from Casillas in the chase position, but other than that, solid job from both. You could tell these two have already battled already today. Nolan Stanley looking good and looking consistent in that Porsche Supra, but really close at proximity was Jonathan. Right there is kind of the best opportunity of saying, I'd just like to see a little bit more angle. Gets into Nolan. Nolan's a little bit wide on the last starter clip too, which opens the door as a chase car to be able to put on a lot of pressure, which was what Jonathan Casillas did, but again, just like to see just a little bit more angle from that 370Z, if you will, in the chase position, but definitely not settled. This one is not over, not by a long shot.
Oh no, so far, this is the closest battle we have seen all day. If I do say so myself, and again, no major mishaps, just maybe a little bit more angle in the chase, but again, really easy for your competitor to do that as well.
Okay, second battle. The time for reruns is over. You win here, you move on. You lose, you go home. Will it be Team Hashira getting another driver in, or the lone? Oh, it's not going to be a good start for Jonathan. He's in the wall, but a mistake from Nolan Stanley in the chase. I'm not sure if Nolan was just responding, because you could see that one broom from a mile away.
Yep.
They're going to finish out the run here, Joe, but this one is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be tough for the judges, but from what I saw from the judges' perspective was Nolan seeing that the understeer coming from Jonathan, and then Nolan just kind of taking an angle out of it, expecting a wreck. You'll see it really well here.
Let's take a look at it in the drone cam, because I think, again, it is the true serum, as our favorite announcer says.
Love that guy.
Oh, really do. Thrown in, yeah, even if Nolan wasn't driving reactively.
Yeah, he keeps it sideways. It looks a lot worse in the chase camera.
Yeah, and I think our judges are here with a call as well. So, slide him left for Nolan, slide him right for Jonathan, in the middle for an OMT. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So Nolan taking that win for sure. And yeah, it was just an independent mistake to zero out.
You know what? Obviously, I think everybody who's earned their way into this part of the competition has really paid their dues and proved them they are a very competent drifter. But Jonathan Casillas, at least on my sheet, is the only driver here that does not have some sort of team affiliation. He's here by himself. And has almost raced his way into the top 16 of some of the best drivers in the world. So I think he's got everybody who's made it today, but especially him, have a reason to keep their head up high. But it will be, as it turns out, a team. It could be a team. There's a 66% chance. My name's not Scott Steiner, I promise. That a Hashira member will make the final in a Supra. The only one to play spoiler to that, Braden Swan, Art of Motion. He's trying to make his way in with a Supra. A Supra will make it into the final as the North American wildcard, but who will it be? Will it be Nolan Stanley on the Revenge Tour? Will it be Ethan Minima, your 2023 champion? Or will it be Braden Swan, the Art of Motion member, trying to play spoiler?
Well, let's see. Let's get him up to the line. And then again, Whoever fails from this battle is not out yet. Okay, we are up to the line. A90 on A90. When I was entering in all the driver statistics for the round, it does seem the A90 and the S15 this round. That's what everyone really likes.
Yeah, I mean, the A90 is kind of the modern S15, not in the sense that it's a Nissan, just it's a known, proven, consistent platform.
And we are off. There we go. Braden in the lead, Ethan in the chase. Big angle from both drivers. And Ethan, oh no! The curse of starting VR too soon, and I think Ethan just piled it in a little bit too much. Braden didn't seem to slow down too much, but we'll see. But I think that might be the discussion point of the battle, because otherwise, right back to business as usual. But yeah, let's take... Yeah.
A wise man once said, we've lost that round, but it's not over yet. Get ready for the next one.
Yeah. Because again, but my replay doesn't want to play it. It wants to... It says no.
Really likes this B-roll right now. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Comes down to the initiation here, Joe. We'll see. Swan, it is a decel zone. I'll double check and see if there's any additional notes there, but
no, it might have just seemed too much dip on the chip in the chase.
The only case that I think Ethan could make is that Swan wasn't all the way in the zone. He's still in the zone. I would say unfortunately, but he's still in the zone. But he's not bumper to the wall, which I think he just made the assumption that Swan was going to get there. I don't think he did anything wrong. This isn't me pointing the finger at Braden, but I think that was just him fully committing to a run, and it didn't work out for him. So switch up to the line, switching him up. Your 2023 champion, Ethan Minima, again, this is still double elimination on this North American side of your preliminary bracket. Again, only one member will make it in as the wild card entry for the North American side. Will it be Braden Swan? Will it be Ethan Minima? Ethan's going to have the run of his life. Force a mistake from Swan. Not the best start from Swan, but giving him just a little bit of room to maneuver. Braden Swan trying to keep that thing sideways. Not as bad as a contact moment that Minima had, but definitely standing on the brakes to get that super sideways. Once again, super solid job from Ethan Minima in the lead position. Minor mistakes from Braden Swan and Chase. I don't know if it's enough. I don't think it's going to turn the battle Ethan's way. I think the best case scenario for Minima right now is OMT.
Yes, I would like to see this from the drone cam for sure. Let's take a look at it. So this is run 1 again. Braden in the lead, and Ethan, if we remember, overcooks it. Yeah, I don't think... Because you can kind of use how fast the drone's going as like a reference point, and it doesn't seem like Braden slows down at all, but Ethan just keeps on going, keeps on trucking. I think he really threw it in there. And then in run number 2, here we go. We'll have to see Braden's mistake now to see if they are comparable. It might very well be. And again, Braden starting back slow, inching his way on in there, and just really fighting the car through the transition, it seems. But really good angle into there, slowing it down and staying out of Ethan's door about as best as one could hope. Take a look at them side by side one more time, because of course my replay really is just unhappy today. Don't know why.
I mean, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting
there. Takes an extra minute.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. Looking at that, I think Ethan is the one with dirt on his shoes here.
Mm-hmm. Like again, it's in the judges' hands now, which is kind of the scary part for both sides. The big difference, I think they've made similar mistakes. Granted, I'm not watching the leads with a fine-tooth comb, so maybe there's tire drops or something. Especially interclip 1 is such an easy place to put a tire off and kind of it almost go unnoticed, especially from the cameras. As we have a decision here.
We do, and I will explain as we go here. So Braden and Ethan, slide him left for Braden, slide him right for Ethan, in the middle for an OMT. 1, 2, and 3. So they did find that Braden did slow down a little too much into outer zone 1, and that is why they called it the way they did. And then lack of angle and chase in run 2 as well. So that's sometimes how it happens. Announcers see one thing, judges see another.
To make myself sound smarter, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, obviously. Swan will have the chance to battle. He's got to go through Ethan's teammate to get there, but the AOM car did not get all the way to the wall, and I think that is where that extra decel came from. Double checking the notes from the driver's meeting, the decel zone is before the wall. Obviously, the contact happened towards, I want to say, the first third of it. So that's what the judges saw. Again, that's what happens when you, and then the straightening from Chase did not help Swan at all. That's what happens when you leave it in the judges' hands, is when it's close. It may not go the way that you think it went. But it's not over for Swan. But he has to take down Nolan Stanley, who just barely lost to his teammate.
There we go. So next battle, Braden Swan, Nolan Stanley. Both drivers. The winner goes on to battle Ethan. Ethan will be on an advantage, though, with that one loss that he can take. So let's get him up to the line and ready to go. So again, Braden Swan in the lead in that beautiful Art of Motion A90. Nolan Stanley in that A90.
It's grown on me.
Ashira.
Especially in these colors. It looks
it's cool.
Yokohama-esque with the black and the red.
I'm sure there's a lot of giggling going on of, well, what if we front end swapped it like this?
See him going for the jump. That's something that a lot of the other drivers didn't really go for. Again, this is for all the marbles now. Winner goes up against Ethan Minima. Loser goes home.
And they are off. Braden Swan in the lead. Nolan Stanley in the chase. And let's see. Big initiation for both drivers. Braden carrying that speed. Nolan, little snap to angle and pull it back a little bit. Diving on in on that leader. Coming on through the transition. Leaving good space. And again, now diving in, but not as close as historically. Nolan leaving a lot on the table. Braden with just a really overall solid lead, you know?
Yeah, it's a minor mistake for Swan going into turn 1. You'll see it here on the replay when we get there. Just a little twitch. It wasn't anything crazy, but we've seen smaller mistakes decide battles before. We've seen smaller mistakes decide battle today. You'll see it from the lead vehicle here. He just kind of goes, pulls angle, and then takes a little bit out of it. That's the only mistake he really made. Nolan in the chase, cut some corners, got close, but it got close at weird times, so then had to back right off. Just wasn't consistent from Stanley. And, you know, getting close and getting to the door is awesome, but you have to stay to the door and stay close the whole way around. That's what wins battles.
Yeah, definitely. And again, just overall, a safe lead run. Nothing crazy, nothing to write home about, but a safe lead run. And kind of with how today's going, I kind of think that's the safe move. I don't know. So let's see how it goes here. Does Nolan have something in his back pocket? Maybe. Braden sitting on a solid run, but definitely something that can be improved upon. And our lights are on. And let's see what happens here. We are off.
Good jump from Swan. He's going to need it. He's going to have to put to the door of Nolan Stanley to make sure this one is over and not in the judges' hands again. Good entry from Stanley, maybe a little bit shallow from Swan. But now he's right to the door of Stanley. Almost an opposite story. Stanley, whenever he's able to get on the power, just opens up the gap a little bit, but nice and consistent is the Art of Motion driver, Braden Swan, in the chase position.
That was definitely two very solid runs from both drivers. Again, let's take a look at it from the drone while we are at it. So this is run number 2. Nolan Stanley in the lead. Looking very, very... Again, I don't see any super major missteps from both drivers here. So
in retrospect, really smart driving from Swan. You see he'll pull like 2 or 3 degrees out of the car. It's not crazy, and it looks a lot better on the drone camera than it does on the rear chase camera.
Yeah,
a little mistake there.
Digging on in on that proximity as best as possible. And then Nolan had these flashes in the pan, but right there, going into that second to last outside zone, it looked like a major bobble.
Yeah, missed 2 zones too, or barely got them. But, you know, Swan, whether he pulled angle out of it or didn't, filled all the zones. Much more consistent.
Yeah, let's take a look at run 1 again, because this is, I think, because Nolan's chase might have been his downfall.
Yeah. He's out there. He's just in the zone there. Obviously, he's got to do what he's got to do to close proximity. We've talked about it before. This section is not long. It doesn't take long to go from beginning to end here, only about 25 seconds. And there's not a lot of reset opportunity. There's one decel zone at the end. It's very fluid. If you mess up one zone, it's really hard to bring it back and kind of correct on the next. So you see he'll miss that first outer zone. Really hard to get to the wall in the second one and keep it fluid, because if you go a little bit shallow, it screws you up for the whole back half of the run. Very, very simple looking course, but you make one minor mistake on any of these outer zones, it will punish you for the whole run.
Yeah, it really, really will. I don't know. I think it's hard to ignore that bobble in the chase. With everything else being so good, because yeah, after this we could look at run 2 one more time, but nothing sticks out to me otherwise. Like it's pretty consistent driving from both drivers here. Our judge is definitely taking a look at this one, because again, this is a close battle, genuinely.
Ethan Minima licking his chops right now, getting ready to take on the winner of this battle. Winner of that battle will be your North American wildcard winner of the preliminary part of this 2-day event here at Tsukuba Circuit. The ESDA World Final. A whole season of drifting all across the world has whittled us down to 32 and almost 16 of the best sim drifters in the world. We have our Latin America representative, we have our European representative, and we are down to 3 on the North American side of the bracket. Of course, we still have everybody who qualified just a little bit better who'll be ready to do the top 16 double elimination tomorrow afternoon at 11 o'clock Eastern Time.
So, again, close battle here. Very close battle. 2 A90 Supers driven very excellently. And when it gets this close, it gets really nitpicky. Okay, we do have a call here. So, slide him left for Braden, slide him right for Nolan, in the middle for an OMT. 1, 2, and 3. Braden Swan will be back and now up against Ethan Minima one more time. Ethan has to lose twice, but Braden has it in him.
That's kind of the thing, Joe. The more you battle, a lot of the times it's not a negative. Especially, we've seen it a lot this season. Heck, we've seen it twice. It's been two underdogs that have done the bracket reset and earned their way into the top 16. We could see 3 for 3. We could see Ethan be the first person to play spoiler. But obviously, he's got that disadvantage if it's his first time on a VR headset. And Braden Swan, it seems the more he drives, especially against these Sashira guys, he's only getting better and better. This should be a good one.
This should definitely be a good one. And as you pointed out, he's driving against the same team. And when you're in the same team, you are driving together. So you'll notice teams will drive similar. Like, just that comes from driving together a lot. And so that might be an advantage Braden used. Taking some notes, battling Stanley.
Something that you still have to keep in mind. Obviously, the format's totally different. The way that we've structured this season is totally different. But Ethan Minima is still your 2023 ESDA World Champion.
Yeah, a strong driver. So, let's get him up to the line and see.
This is going to be the upset of upsets if Swan can pull this down. Not saying that Swan is not capable, but not only will he be your wild card member and making it into the top 16, but he has to beat your last year's champion twice to get it done.
Yep. As here we go. We are at the line. We are ready. So, this is for all of it. Braden, it's do or die. Ethan's got something in his pocket, so if I'm Ethan, I'm driving as hard as I know how to for this run. And we are off. Here we go. Ethan Minima in the lead. Nothing to lose. Braden Swan, everything to lose. We are off. Braden throwing it in. Beautiful angle from both drivers. Great proximity in the chase. Ethan putting it down. Braden, a little bit of a bobble into that second to last outside zone. Slow to angle, but there we go. Ethan giving him an opportunity for a really good chase run, and he is taking advantage of it. But again, it's such a close battle. Is that all?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ESDA World Finals. Ethan Minima on lock. If this was qualifying, that would have been a 90-point plus run. all day, every day. I really like what Braden Swan does here, Joe, where he picks his spot. He still gets aggressive in the proximity, and it's not like he ever drops back to the point where he's not there, but he's really smart about it. He's not pushing the door going into transitions, because that's where gaps could open. You'll see he'll get close and then kind of let Ethan breathe and then get close again. Really, really heads up driving for Braden Swan.
Yeah, really, really good from Braden. So we're already back to the line. Both these drivers are ready to battle. And again, Ethan really went for it in the lead. I don't think he left too much on the table. Braden as well, really up on the door. I'm excited. This will be a good battle. And again, any of these drivers, they have the capability to go in tomorrow and take it all. So we'll see here. A comeback run for Braden can start right now.
It's going to need to, again, Braden needs to win twice. Ethan just needs one. It's still anybody's game. Not the best start for Minima. You're going to see him miss that first outer zone. Gap opening right off the line. Braden Swan, excellent read run so far as we go into the hottest part of the course, going right into the hairpin. You see the dive from Minima, super smooth from Swan, takes that nice outside line, goes in late, carries the speed off the corner. Ethan Minima might have just given Braden Swan an opening.
Let's take a look at the drone cam. So first, we'll start with run number 1. So both drivers really went for it this run. Right up on the wall from both of them. Great angle from both of them as well. Braden, just a little bit less, but in the chase, you kind of got to do that to really get up on the door. And again, a little bobble into that second to last outside zone, which opened it up, but he did dive in and close it back up very quickly. On such a short track, he did have the opportunity to reset, but here we go in run number 2. Braden Swan again in the lead. Now he has to do everything he can, as Ethan leaving a little bit of space and not as much angle. To me, prime OMT territory. I don't know.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I love Ethan. I've shaken hands with this guy. I've gotten drunk on Dollaritas while he's watched drinking apple juice in an Applebee's once with this guy. But, man, Swan didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, there's points where I'd like to see him push a bit harder, especially in his chase, maybe a little bit more angle, but Minima got gapped off the start, didn't fill all the zone, and just didn't look as confident in the chase as Swan did. So, yeah, I always love to see an OMT. I love to see the boys keep going until it's really definitive, but I know I've got someone in mind for sure.
Yeah, I could see the call going either way. It depends what you really value as far as what's more important than what as a judge. But I don't know, man. I could see it going either way. Again, let's take a look at it side by side. Come on. I know you want to work.
The judges have had some really tough calls today, but usually it's been like, okay, well, this driver made this mistake, this driver made this mistake. This might be one of the closest battles we've had this evening.
Yeah. Again, side by side.
You know, new hardware or not, he's used to this chassis. It's the chassis that won him his 2023 championship in different format this year, but still qualified to make it this far. It would be an upset, but not the end of the road for Ethan Minima if Braden Swan takes this win. Again, if Ethan wins, it's over for Swan. If Swan wins, bracket is reset, and then both drivers' backs are pressed against the wall.
Yeah. And both of these drivers, they know it is their ticket into the top 16 tomorrow. So, do or die for Braden. Ethan's got a little bit of wiggle room. Not that much. I'm sure he would like to lock it down right now. But again, going to VR, day of, it's a tactical decision. I'll say that much about it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to bring it up again. I don't want to start making racing driver excuses, but where have we seen Minima make mistakes today in his chases? And where do you think the biggest difference of having spatial awareness, knowing when you're close and when you're not close, that's the biggest thing to adjust to. Being able to rotate your head and going, wow, the clippy point's there and this is there. You can see it in his leads. Still has that full confidence. But there's points in his chase where I think he's either closer than he thinks he is or farther away than he thinks he is, which have those little hiccups and bobbles.
Yeah. It very well may be that. He also might be dialing it in still as well. And if anyone's ever done some FOV stuff on their rigs, they know how much that can really affect how you feel in the car. Even though it's not a big change in the scheme of things, it really will change how it feels. But again, let's take a look at it from the drones.
Yeah, just right there is not. You know, again, you could say Swan's run wasn't 2 100-point runs. They were still both fantastic, but they weren't 2 100-point runs. He's a little bit wide here, cuts in late. Personally, I think that's the proper line because it gives you a great run out of the corner. But he didn't miss any zones, man. Like you see, Ethan gets on it a little early, and then the car just does not track out wide. If he left foot brakes there, he loses so much time.
Well, we have a call. Slide him left for Ethan, slide him right for Braden. In the middle for an OMT. Die for an OMT. Grizz for Ethan. Slay J, what's it going to be? Yeah, there we go. I can't say I disagree with that call. Like, as OMT as you can get. So, do it again.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about split decisions and not leaving it in the judge's hands. That's exactly what you don't want to do as a driver. So they will go one more time. Yeah, I'd love to hear. Let's see if I can. Chris has been doing such an awesome job at describing it there. Obviously, we saw the mistake from Ethan, so I want to see die with the OMT. I think that call is pretty fair. Slay J with Swan, which is where I was personally leaning, so I'd like to see what Chris had to say. He was the only one that thought Ethan won that one.
And again, Ethan's, because it's an OMT, Ethan still does have that in his back pocket. You know? So.
Yes. At this rate, we could be here all night.
Could be here for a while. So Ethan now in the lead again. Braden in the chase. We forget what we just saw. Getting ready.
And both drivers on the line. This is an OMT battle, so nobody has. Oh, jump scare. Harold McKinney jump scare.
Yes, sir.
Has entered our realm here. Harold, that was a close one. Let us know what you thought about it.
So, based off my decision, coming off both runs, they both coming into the last decel. They hang on, I got the stream up. I muted. But going into the last decel, they both kind of extended it out it was kind of excessive. So we docked them both for that, so we equaled that out. But in my opinion, I've seen that Brandon could have had a little bit more angle compared to how Ethan took the turn a little bit better. But also on entry, Ethan kind of got on throttle a little bit late compared to how Brandon got on throttle a lot earlier than he did. So I just said I equaled out both mistakes. All those mistakes and went OMT. But Grizz went Ethan was because of the last turn of what I had said, just based off of that. And Slay J went with Swan was mainly because of the entry, how Swan got back on throttle earlier than Ethan. So yeah, it was a lot of split decisions in the judging booth there.
Yeah, that definitely, I can see it. Well, thank you so much for your time, and let's get ready for this OMT battle.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So again, on the line, Ethan Minima, Braden Swan. Looking good. Exciting battle. Both drivers definitely have it in the bag.
Yeah, so that wide line into the last hairpin, something that just going over the notes is definitely something that costed both of them. You'd think that would be better, but the judges going over again, they went over with the drivers in the drivers meeting, hey, this is where you want you to go, and there's a very clear line coming off that final outer zone into the final inner, and hanging it out wide there is not what they're looking for. We'll see if they can clean it up. OMT battle getting started right now.
And here we go. Ethan Minima in the lead. Braden Swan in the chase. Throwing it on in. Big angle from both drivers. Braden pulling it out a little bit early for that transition. So, Braden, I think that might have been a tire drop. We'll see from the drone cam. But again, now we're starting to see some cracks in the approach in that chase. Ethan seems overall unfazed. I was just watching the chase driver, so I can't comment too much on that. My replay again, unhappy.
But I mean, again, this is where Ethan's been strong all day. He's really not, to my recollection, put a foot behind him in lead positions all day. It's all been people making mistakes behind him, and because he's been so consistent with his leads. And then him making mistakes in chases. So you see Swan, again, why we're in this OMT situation. Would have liked to see more angle from him, but he's opting, you know what? No, I just want to make sure Minima with the jets on doesn't pull away. The only real big mistake from Swan goes a little bit wide there. Obviously, he gets the run on the exit of the corner, but as we just heard from Harold McKinney, one of our judges, that's something the judges are looking at and are going to deem as a mistake or some sort of deduction, if you will, against the drivers for going a little bit wide there. So not a bad run at all from Swan in the chase. Really consistent from Minima in the lead. This is still anybody's game here.
As we're getting ready for run number 2. So Braden Swan now in the lead. Ethan Minima in the chase. Ethan has been on the back foot in his chases, it seems, particularly that change over to VR. We'll see.
Here's the thing, though, Joe. The more he drives, especially with the headset on, the better and better he's going to get. When he learns where his front quarter panels are, he's going to be a weapon. But, I've talked to a lot of drivers who do drive in VR, and they'll never go back. But it took them so long to get used to it. This is day 1 for Minima. Will the gamble pay off? We're about to find out. Braden Swan in the lead. You see Minima has to drop back and give Swan room to enter. Little bit of lack of angle from Swan, but big mistake in the chase. Tire on the rumble strip from Ethan Minima. Ethan Minima falling apart right now in the chase position. He needs something huge from Swan to be able to stay in the hunt here. I didn't really see anything there, Joe, but a missed zone and a ton of a lack of angle from Ethan Minima.
Let's take a
May
look
not
at
have been
it.
the move.
Let's take a look at this second run from the drone. So big. So now he's playing catch up already. Diving in, not a lot of angle, just trying to catch up, and yeah. That might have been the undoing. Again, it's so short. Once you're on the back foot like that, there's not a lot of time to make it right. Yeah.
I think Martinez Ostreka in our chat put it best. Again, another driver for Team Urta. We'll see. One of the best out there to do it is Braden's got the nitro boost, I think, the nitro button, as he put it. But we have a call, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Minima loses. It resets the bracket. We do it all over again. Minima wins. It's over. That's 1 for Swan.
And so Swan takes that win. So, again. Second verse, same as the first. So Ethan Minima, again, up against Braden Swan. Get him up to the line.
We've had 2 bracket resets so far to have our 2 current wildcard members. On the European side, we got Yuna Warren and the Black Smoke Racing Mercedes, who ran the run back against Tim Roberts, a Hashira driver, to be able to make it into the top 16. Diego Beltrami had to take his teammate out not once, but twice to do the exact same thing to be the Latin American wild card. We are in the same position once again now in the North American side of the bracket. Will Braden Swan, Art of Motion, stalwarts here in the ESDA's past, be able to make it in to represent North America, or will your 2023 champion pull something extra out of his many bags of tricks and be able to get it done against the Art of Motion driver? It's all reset. Winner moves on to tomorrow. Loser is the first one to lose grasp at the taste of victory.
So let's see here. Again, this is do or die. I'm expecting fireworks. Either it will be a flawless run for both of them, or something very dramatic will happen very quickly, I have a feeling. So here we go. Ethan Minima in the lead, Braden in the chase. And we are throwing it on in. Braden right up on Ethan's door. Ethan unfazed through the transition, looking very smooth in the lead, and Braden doing everything he can to keep up with that leader. And again, looking very, very confident through that final inside clip. Both drivers, not much to say about that. Just really strong.
That's what Swan needed. Aggressive off the rip. Nobody's really been willing to get that saucy in the first corner all day. Brandon Swan, knowing now that they're on even keel, he's got to throw everything he can at it. Eat the minimum, maybe a tire off. It was hard to tell from that angle, but both these drivers are in their happy place. You see right there, just so aggressive, a little bit shallow on the line, but nobody's been willing to get that close, that aggressively all day long from Braden Swan. Just again, same thing as same verse. What did you? I don't even remember what you said.
Second verse, same as the first.
That one. I'm not going to steal that from you. By that I mean I'm not going to remember how to say it.
It's Ren and Stimpy, man.
Just very, very similar lead, very similar chase to what's got us to this point. But now both of these drivers in their weaker of the two spots. Braden Swan's made some mistakes in the lead, has caused OMTs. Minima has made mistakes in the chase that gave the win to Braden Swan. So both these drivers now need to clean up what they've done already today to have a chance to be able to advance into this final tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern time.
And here we go. We are on the line. So Braden Swan has a very, very strong chase with just a few small corrections. Ethan looking very strong in the lead, but his chases have been weak all day, and here we go.
Minima in the chase, Swan in the lead. AOM versus Hashira. Only one member makes the final. Good start for Swan. A little bit of a ticky-tack entry there for Minima, but he's on the track to put the pressure on the door of Swan. Swan not phased at all. Minima drops back. Not the best angle for Minima. A little bit wide there with Swan. We saw that cost him a battle win before. Will it cost him a battle win now? Both supers across the line, and only one's going to make it into the finals.
Okay, let's take a look at it from the drone again. In battles this close, that's what matters. So this is run one. Braden almost backing it in to Ethan, touching him with the back fenders first, really putting angle out, but then having to pull angle out to stay behind Ethan through that transition. Those Hashira A90s just, they make good grip, man. And again, here, so now in run number two, Braden in the lead, Ethan in the chase, throwing it in, and Ethan again just seems shy. I don't know how else to put it in the chase.
It's so uncharacteristic for him, too, because we've seen chase runs from Minima where we're standing up screaming.
Yep.
You know, it's just not the same guy. Again, we know why, but unfortunately, the judges do not care. They only can go off what they see. There's no, brownie points being handed out. Swan, again, doing what he knows how to do best, just super solid in the lead, almost hanging the wing over the wall. OZ2, pushing all he can in 3 and 4. First person I think I've seen all day use that rumble strip, which is fair game in OZ4. He knows where the rear end of his car is. Super heads-up driving from Braden Swan.
Yeah, really, really good driving from both drivers, honestly.
My God.
Yeah, it's just nutty. It's just nutty from both of the drivers. Again, that first run I think was really strong, but Ethan with a drop as well.
Yeah,
I'm just catching that as well.
That might make this one a bit easier. It looked like maybe he had a tire off, but my eyes have lied to me more than once today, so I didn't really want to say much, but you'll see it again here. This is your first run from the drone camera. Super aggressive initiation from Braden Swan. He has to actually back out of it and then watch the right rear of that lead vehicle. It's kind of hard to dispute, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
At least from that angle.
And again, this is for all of it. No one's got a lost card in their back pocket. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
This is your 2023 champion going up against Braden Swan. Art of Motion, a team that we're very familiar with over here at ESDA. Hashira, kind of new kids on the block, but have only gotten better and better and better until they've all become a force to be reckoned with.
So we do have a call for ourselves here. One moment. So we're going to be sliding them left for Ethan, sliding them right for Braden, in the middle for an OMT. I think we're in OMT territory. Grizz thinks Braden takes it. What's it going to be? And Braden Swan taking the win, securing his spot in tomorrow's top 16. Again, so far, upset city.
3 for 3 on the upsets, but that's not to take anything away from Braden Swan. Our 2023 champion has been knocked out. Joe, we will have a new champion this year in 2024. And at the cost of Ethan Minima, he bows out just one step short of making that top 16 double elimination tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. But Art of Motion's Braden Swan punches his ticket through one of the most hard-fought battles I think I've ever seen. I didn't think that was ever going to end. We have one more group to go. We have the Asian and Pacific region left. We don't go anywhere as we continue with the final part of our ESDA preliminaries right after this.
Welcome back, everybody, to ESDA World Finals. We are into our final group here. But before we do that, real quick, in the booth with me, we got Keenan Kusin. We got our judges. Oh, hello. Our judges, Harold McKinney, Gris Kids, and Slay J. And then our drone cam, as always, spawns FPV. So we had a few no-shows from our group number 4. It is the Oceanic group. So this is the most middle of the night for them. So I can't really fault anyone. I get one.
I don't even think it's middle of the night, dude. I think it's like
first thing
between 5 and 7 in the morning.
Oh, just terrible hours to be getting up.
Yeah.
I do it every day. I don't
think
hate
Plantagen was. I think Plantagen was like, yeah, it's gonna be like at 6 in the morning. So yeah, like it's unfortunately, with the 2-day format, it was always gonna be rough for somebody. And the APAC region was taking the brunt of it. So, couple no shows. I think Joe, you've got a full list of who's here.
I do have a full list of who's here, so I'm just getting everything set up. So who is here is Makoto Ito, Keisuke Fuji, as well as Thanathip Thanalapinen.
That's crazy. So I was so stoked to watch Sam drive, but unfortunately we're not going to get him. So Australia in shambles right now. It will be an Asian driver moving on, but it will either be one of the 2 Japanese drivers or Thanathip Thanalapinen holding it down.
Oh, our first battle will be Makoto Ito leading Kasuke Fuji. There we go. So, RX-7, first one of the day. Love that car.
Dude, you're going to freak out when you see Thanathip's car. It's gorgeous.
I'm not surprised by that. No.
Really, really quick before we get into it, too. This was an issue when we ended up doing the actual preliminary. We were running this in a Japanese server, so broadcast and everybody's got a 200 and mine's 240 ping. So you may see cars lag and move around that it doesn't actually happen on their screen. Thankfully, there's only 3 drivers in here, so it's not that bad. But just something to keep in mind as we move forward here. Just waiting for, and another thing too is there is. With the Latin America guys, a lot of them I think know like enough English to like come to the line and whatever. This was boy during the first one with APAC. So cars coming to the line and stuff is going to take like just a little bit of extra time. But we have a Taiwanese or a Thai driver, Thanathip Thanalapinen, and then 2 Japanese drivers of Makoto Ito from Zenkai Racing from Hyogo, Japan, going up against his countrymen.
And I do gotta say, like, problems that language barriers provide, besides that, it has been awesome to see drivers from all over the world. The driving styles of, like, different... It was crazy. I remember freaking out to Keenan afterwards saying, like, it's crazy how the driving styles are so different, but it's so cool to watch. So I think tomorrow we're going to see something very interesting.
Of course, something special tomorrow. 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. For the top 16 best sim drifters in the world. We'll go head-to-head to see who's the top step of the podium. Who is your 2024 ESDA World Champion? Austin Zalewski, your 2023 champion. Ethan Minima, your Rookie of the Year. We will have 2 brand new names to that list. We'll have a new champion next year or tomorrow, and we'll find out who will be taking the crown away from Austin. Mr. A to Z, unfortunately not here. So we will have a brand new member of that club. As Makoto Ito, and he's got his name in kanji, so I can't cheat and read it. Keisuke Fuji on the line. Keisuke in the lead in the S15, and Makoto Ito in the chase in the RX-7 FD.
Okay, we are off. Keisuke is in the lead. Makoto Ito in the chase, throwing it in. Both drivers very aggressive, looking really, really good. Throwing it on through. There we go. Looking great through this. I'm sure both these drivers very familiar with Tsukuba circuit. Big throw in from Fuji, kind of almost washing out a very strange line from him going into that final inside clip, and Ito not really fazed by it.
Ton of grip in that S15. You can see it bouncing around, especially going into the last corner. Then to your point, Joe, this is a home round for these 2 drivers.
Yeah.
The only 2 drivers who have a chance to have this be their home round. We thought, neutral playing field here, but it's about the 2 only Japanese drivers trying to make their way into that top 16, or the 2, at least in the preliminaries, making their way into the top 16. Solid start for both. I think Makoto Ito ate at the same place as one of our judges, Grizz, because that thing looked like it had heartburn, spitting so much fire in the chase position. But solid run from both. I think that's what you need to start off the day again. Same sort of, you see that big lag right there? That's just the part of the server, so that's something that you're going to have to just train your eyes to until we're done here. But solid job from both. I think this is what they needed. Again, all these drivers still have the opportunity to lose one and continue. That has not changed. So just kind of getting their eye in right now. Again, super early in the morning. I think best case scenario is you're from Japan and it's about 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So that's still pretty gosh darn early to be sitting down in the rig and rubbing the gunk off your eyes and trying to get focused and get in the zone. So
yeah, you're only catching me doing that for long races. I hate it. It is the most uncomfortable thing being in the rig that tired. Everything feels foreign. And we are off. Here we go.
Second run between these two Japanese drivers. Makoto Ito in the lead. Keisuke Fuji in the chase. Solid job from the RX-7 of Ito in the lead. Missing out the second zone was Keisuke Fuji. Kind of dropping back a little bit here. Going to have to see him charge up. He chooses not to. Nice and smooth. Again, just consistent.
Yeah.
Opting not to do anything super flashy and do anything they don't know how to do. Just saying, hey, I'm getting gapped. Well, I'll just kind of do my thing back here.
Okay, so that's run 1. There we go. Run number 2. So, yeah, just clean driving, honestly. Very aggressive, though. I would argue that this it feels more aggressive, just a lot more angle in the lead. A lot more, like, liberty in the line a little bit, as well as, like, cutting angle to make the line fit the track a little bit more. It's really cool. It's definitely a different approach, though. So the judges, there we go. We already have a call. So slide him left for Fuji, right for Ito, in the middle for an OMT. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Makoto Ito moving on.
And his reward is going up against Thanafip Thanalopinen, the Thailand driver for Vatana Motorsport. Nice to see Bunny the Honey in chat as well. Thanawat Wong Fuishin waking up in the wee hours.
Hope you're doing well.
Support his countrymen. This man does not have a name. He has a paragraph. Would you like to buy a vowel? Yes. Yes, I would.
So let's get him up to the line and ready to go here.
And this is your final preliminary. Good Lord. This is your final preliminary bracket before we are into the top 16 tomorrow afternoon, 11 o'clock Eastern time. Same ESDA time, same ESDA channel.
Come hang out.
And this will
be fun.
The final of your 3 drivers that can make it in. Again, we've had 3 upsets so far. 3 people who have reset the bracket and fought their way in. Yuna Warren, Diego Beltrami, and we just saw Braden Swan and Ethan Minima go blow for about 4 years until Braden Swan just barely took that win over Ethan Minima. And there can be only one to join them. It'll be one of 3 names. It'll be either the Thai driver, Thanafip Thanalopinen, or one of the 2 Japanese drivers. Unfortunately for Keisuke Fuji, not the best start for him, as he is the only one of these 2 drivers with a loss. So he's about to have somebody join him here.
We will see who.
Thanafip pulling up to the line. That car screams like 2010 era Kumukubo to me.
It's pretty good.
And it makes me very happy in an area of my body I can no longer continue to describe.
So I think Ito is reconnecting. Something might be unhappy. Now here, we'll just go over to the drone cam. He's got eyes on the car right now. The fitment, too. That's what really makes it.
It's gorgeous.
It's just good. Meaty fitment for me. I'm always big on
We got meaty fitment. We got, like, Team Orange-esque livery. And Halloween colors.
It's just a good livery.
Understood the assignment.
Shout out to good liveries.
I mean, I don't think that enough attention gets paid to that as we wait for, again, it's going to be an extra minute for these drivers to pull to the line. A lot of the work that goes into the modeling, the building of these cars, the physics, obviously regardless of what pack you drive, how far drift physics have come in Assetto in the last like 5 years is nuts. all the custom builds, the liveries, everybody who's been behind the scenes. I don't think gets their names up on the bright lights whenever a driver wins. You guys deserve it just as much.
Yeah, really. So we are at the line here. Thanethop up here. Up against Ito.
Except for Liam. Liam, you smell. But everyone else. That's a joke. I still have beef with Akihiko.
And here we go. So Thanelopoulos in the lead, Ito in the chase. Big angle from both drivers. Great initiation from Thanelopoulos, looking amazing in that lead position. Ito having to cut some angle to try and keep up. Whoa! Thanelopoulos has brought it today. That's all I'm saying about it. That was the best lead run of the day.
I thought he was going to crash 4 different times.
That was the best lead run of the day. Everyone,
oh my God.
I will fight that until the end. That was crazy.
Watch this initiation. This is stupid.
That was just
in front of his car, I'm like, he's dead. Like, no.
No, perfect. Maybe dials a little
He's
bit
dead.
out. That was great. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that run. That was.
He's dead again. No, that's nuts. So he uses he obviously misses the inner just a little bit. He's there, but he doesn't get all the way to the inside of the inner, which opens the door for Ito to be able to close the gap. But if we're going to run through this whole replay one more time, again, super aggressive initiation. Ito has his wobble in the chase, but still is there. Good leads breed good chases. Right here is something I don't think I've seen anybody use all day. Uses the rumble strip, helps that car over rotate, and then he's got space behind him to be able to throw it in backwards. Again, in the judging drivers meeting, they said, hey, you can go 90 degrees plus at your own risk. And I guess he saw in the mirror that he had some room and put some sauce on it for the boys watching back home.
That was a run. So we're back up at the line and ready to go.
This is the undefeated side of your APAC bracket. The loser goes up against Keisuke Fuji. The winner looking real good. Let's see who it's going to be. Second run of this battle. A little bit of a wacky start for both of them. Super good proximity from Thanethip, but he's got to get on the proper line. Just because you're close to the door does not mean you're in the right spot. Spit and fire is Makoto Ito in the lead position, trying to get a hometown win. Would be really popular here at Tsukuba Circuit, but I'm pushing to the door. Is Thanethip Thanelopoulos across the line? Super aggressive chase run. I think that the ping kind of ate what really happened there, but
yeah. So let's take a look at the drone cam while we're at it. So this is run number 1, and again,
oh my God.
Ito with some mistakes in the chase, but that lead run. I would be, if I was in the chase, I think I'd be a little shook too. Like, I'd be thinking he's crashing the whole time.
That was stupid.
You'd have to have some serious trust to chase someone leading like that. That being said, I think that lead's pretty badass.
So here's your chase. It's hard to, obviously he misses the zone completely. Ito did a really good job filling OZ1, hangs the wing over OZ2, but little tap there.
Yeah, that was something special right there.
And another little, hey, how you doing there? I think just shoves him wide. Obviously, it's after the line. But, I mean, we talked about Thunawat, Thunny the Honey, and then Thanethip the Lip. Like, it seems anybody driving out of Thailand right now, whether they're from Thailand or just driving in that series, this is what we expect to see. Is very, very stylish, not being afraid to throw the car in, and kind of just a lot of ain't care, which you always like to see.
Oh, I love to see it. And we do have a call on this battle here. So we'll slide him left for Thanelopoulos, right for Ito, in the middle for an OMT. 1, 2, and 3. Thanelopoulos moving on, but how today's been going, that might almost be a bad omen. I don't want to jinx him.
It's been 0 for 3 so far, and the winner's side of the bracket, we've had 3 bracket resets in a row. A Japanese driver will try to take it to Thanelopoulos, but who is it going to be? Is it going to be Makoto Ito being able to continue to go for a second chance? It will be Keisuke Fuji grabbing the torch and trying to earn their way, be the Japanese driver to earn their way in through the APAC region. Makoto Ito, Zenkai Racing, Team Revival, Good Gun going up against Fumipai's very own Keisuke Fuji.
Oh, get him back up to the line. This is a rematch of run number 1, the first battle of this group. I'm sure both of them would very much like to prove a point with this battle. Come up to the line and ready to go here.
I need to stress I was reading off the production feed, which is a mistake. It's Fumipa. I think I said Fumipa. I just want to make sure I get that right.
Don't mess it up.
You know what? Wouldn't be the first time today. Probably won't be the last time today. 32 drivers down to 3 now. We have 3 that are in, 3 that are trying to get their way in.
Okay, we are here. Kodo Ito in that RX-7 up in the lead. Kasuke Fuji in the chase, S15. Both drivers had a very, very strong first battle. Again, maybe just a little bit too much aggression. We'll see what happens here. The lights are off, and we are going Makoto Ito in the lead. Kasuke Fuji in the chase. Throwing it on in. Looking very, very confident in that lead. Fuji in the chase. Trying to take advantage of it. Having to cut angle to do so. Ito in that RX-7. That thing is fast. Looking very confident now. Figured out that final inside clip. And across the line we go.
That's a little bit more like it, I think. Much better job from both those drivers. Getting the chance to do the run back.
Why are we angry? Replay. There it is. So, again, a lot cleaner than the first battle, I do have to say. Already. We get him up to the line. But again,
Ito.
Yeah, just solid in that lead.
Trying to join his teammate, Ryo Takatsuki, who's already made it into that top 16 from Kanagawa, Team Revival. And then Makoto Ito, obviously, on the other side, outside looking in, trying to make something happen in this RX-7, but much, much better job from Kasuke Fuji in that S15. Looked like they were struggling a little bit, but much better job now in the second chance.
As we're on the line now, and we're ready to rip here. So, winner goes on to battle Tanalapinen, and we are off. Here we go.
Will Ito get a second chance, or will Fuji play spoiler? Going down to turn 1. Solid job. Good proximity from Ito, but he misses the first outer zone to get it done. Much better job now from Fuji in the lead. Actually cuts a little bit of angle. Trying to run away from the RX-7 from Team Revival in the chase position, but it's not going to happen. Makoto Ito right to the door of Keisuke Fuji, and this one's going to be the judges from something the judges could sink their teeth into.
Definitely something for the judges to look at here as we look at them side by side. Figured out how to get the replays to work perfect, I think.
Oh, jinx yourself.
I know, right? But looking pretty good. Again, both drivers, to me, overall, this is prime OMT territory. On a cursory glance.
Yeah. Good call.
Just a little scruff around everywhere. Nothing crazy.
Kind of the same notes for both in chase. I'd like to see a little bit more angle. I think they can get a little bit more aggressive, but as you said earlier, that's kind of a Japanese style. We see it in real life of where just proximity is everything, and if you have to sacrifice everything to get to the door, you'll do it. But judging style here in ESDA is they're definitely looking at everything. They want to see you get to the door, but they want you to hit all the zones and kind of mimic that 100-point qualifying run that you're supposed to be chasing.
So we do have a call. So slide him left for Ito, right for Fuji in the middle for an OMT, and straight up the middle, we got an OMT.
Yeah, and as you said, Joe, I think as soon as you said it, I think that was the right call. One of the only battles, I think, today, with the exception of Minima and Swan, that has just been too close. Not necessarily like, hey, this driver's 0, that driver's 0, or this driver had a major mistake, that driver had a major mistake. Both these drivers just evenly matched. And with the beauty of the OMT is we're going to have to force one into making a mistake. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Makoto Ito, who I'm sure wants to join his teammate in that top 16, one of the only Japanese drivers represented here in this 32, or it'll be Keisuke Fuji, who plays spoiler for Team Fumipa. But either way, one of these drivers is going to go up against Thanafip Vanelopinen, who looks super strong and is sitting back in his chair, and I'm sure watching this with a smile on his face. As the longer these two dudes drive, actually, the worse it's getting for them. We've seen it before. We'll see it again, I'm sure. But here we go. OMT battle. Winner moves on. Loser goes home.
And here we go. Makoto Ito in the lead. Kasuke Fuji in the chase. Both drivers, very aggressive driving styles from both of them. And sometimes it pays off. And as Keenan said, maybe one makes a mistake, or maybe one dials it back just a little bit and delivers a very clean run because there is room for improvement from both of them as well. So this battle could go either way. I have a feeling it'll end in drama just because let's go for it, but we'll see what happens here as we are on the line and ready to go. And they are off. Here we go. Makoto Ito in the lead. Fuji in the chase, throwing it on in big angle and contact. Yes, there is contact.
You called it.
Yep. So Makoto Ito in the lead, Kazuki Fuji in the chase. Did Ito slow down? Did Fuji not slow down enough? That is what the judges have to decide, with both drivers ending the battle anyway.
Yeah, both drivers staying in it after that contact, but we saw it brewing in their first battle together. Where Keisuke Fuji just charged into OZ1. Seemed like he's entering behind other drivers, the more aggressive he's willing to get, but it came back to bite him here. It's really tough to tell from that angle, Joe, and stop vibe check me here if I'm wrong, but it kind of looks like Fuji sent it in real deep because Ito was on the right line, but Fuji just sent it in real deep, maybe didn't get the angle he was expecting, and that's why he came in a little bit too hot.
So the aggression really, sometimes it giveth, sometimes it taketh away, and this time I think it took away just a little bit too much. The question though is, was it too much of an aggressive rollback, or was it too much of an aggressive just I'm throwing it in as hard as I know how to?
I mean, we've seen battles decided in that first corner today for that exact reason, so not necessarily over yet. And now as Keisuke Fuji puts his destiny in his own hands, Makoto Ito going to try and force an extra mistake and not leave this to the judges. And there was contact in outer zone number 1 on their first run. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's over either way. Still one more run to try and settle this battle between these two Japanese drivers.
Yeah, and they are on the line. The engines are revving up. I think we're ready to go here. So, engine's palpable, and we are off.
Not the best start for Ito. He's going to get gapped a little bit on the start, but Fuji going to try to throw everything at the wall, and he does. He throws that rear bumper of the S15 right on the wall. Not afraid to get aggressive with the track limits. This is where he's been strong all day, but unfortunately for him, Makoto Ito has been strong in the chase position. Really good transition from Keisuke Fuji. All the angle and more. Is it going to be enough, or is this him bowing out of competition? Either way, take a bow. Keisuke Fuji, what a lead run.
Yeah, really, what a lead run it is as we take a look at them side by side. Really just solid driving, but I think it's going to come down to that contact.
Dude, he pulled the Thanathipt in the last corner. Used the rumble strip, used that for a little bit of extra rotation on the rear end of the car. Had the ideal line.
Okay, we do have a call here. So slide him left for Ito, right for Fuji, in the middle for an OMT. We are going to get ready to go here for the final battle. So Ito taking that win. So flashback, start it again.
So Makoto Ito taking down his countryman of Keisuke Fuji. Unfortunately, going out with his head held high. I think that was an awesome lead run, but unfortunately, judges deeming the contact at fault for Keisuke Fuji, so there's not much more you can do if Makoto Ito doesn't have a 0, some sort of major mistake in the chase. So that will be Keisuke Fuji bowing out, and now we'll find out who will be joining our other 3 wildcard members from all 4 regions across the world in our final tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, our top 16 double elimination. Will it be Thanathipt Tamalapanen, the Thai driver who's gone uncontested, or will it be Makoto Ito, who's only sharpening the sword, getting stronger and stronger with each run, and I'm sure who wants to join his teammate for double the chance at a hometown win here at Tsukuba Circuit in Japan?
So we are getting them up to the line and ready to go here. Oh, I hear some engines revving.
And same situation as before. Ito does need to take down Thanalapanen twice, but we've seen 3 times already tonight. Will we see it again? We're about to find out.
Okay, here we go. Thanathip in the lead, Makoto in the chase. Big angle from Thanathip again, and Ito seems less phased by it this time. He's seen it once. I think he feels he can trust this, and we'll see that into this final hairpin. So here we go. Huge throw in from Thanathip, and Ito more aggressive this time, for sure. A little bit of a netcode bump. I don't think that had anything to do with the cars themselves, but overall, really solid run from both drivers.
Good start for both these drivers. Again, Thanathip's super aggressive initiation, has not been afraid of that wall all day, and it's got what has gotten him so far in the competition. But this time, Makoto Ito, as you said, Joe, not faced. Maybe like to see a little bit more angle from the Japanese driver, but really good line here for Ito. You see Thanathip drives down really early. I'm not sure if that's too early or not. That's for the judges to decide, but Ito is going, okay, I'll hang out a little bit wider and use the later apex, if you will, on that inner clip to be able to close the door towards the end of the run. So really smart driving from Ito in the chase position, and Thanathip just doing Thanathip things in the lead. I'm going to have to come up with another nickname for another Thai driver.
Yeah, right? You got to do it.
I don't like the lip. I'll have to come up with something better than that.
Yeah, you got to work it out. Lippy?
Could call him the Tiger. Reference to one of the most underrated beers in the world.
And here we go. We are off.
Second half of this battle, Makoto Ito, the Japanese driver, in the lead. Contact being made from Thanathip Bemelopinen. That is going to be it, folks. This is now going to be decided by turn one contact. Both these drivers are going to finish the run out and put on a show for you watching at home. But who was at fault? Was it Makoto Ito throwing it in deep and giving Thanathip Bemelopinen nowhere to go? Or did Thani just have nowhere to go and get super aggressive? And did it cost him one of his freebies?
Let's take a look here at it from the drone cam. That's going to be what really will tell us here. So first things first, Ito throws it on in, and just super aggressive from Thanathip. I think he might have overcooked it because he's thrown it in. He's thrown it in so aggressive
angle too.
A lot, you know. That's it. I really think that's it.
And I mean, we've seen it before, Joe, where it almost like getting those extra battles just gives you a bit more seat time. I said it a little bit earlier, not to, make the reference that it's the Japanese driver, but he's like sharpening the knife. He's just getting stronger and stronger.
Yep.
And he's had more chase runs, way more chase runs than Thanathip now. And you saw it right there. Obviously, Thanathip has gotten the practice with the lead runs, but you could practice chasing all you want, but chasing in a battle situation will always be different than chasing in practice or chasing your teammates. So,
yes.
The one mistake that Thanathip didn't need to make was right there. He could have taken Makoto Ito down really easily, could have broken the streak, been the favorite to make it into the last position in the wild cards. But I think Makoto Ito might have the wave of momentum here unless the judges saw something different.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that call. But again, a reminder, Bemelopinen is sitting on a get out of jail free card here. He can't afford to lose this battle.
I think irrespective of how this battle goes, Joe, he's got to pay really good attention to what happened in that chase run. Either he's got to learn from that mistake and make sure that doesn't happen again, or the Japanese driver will be moving on, or he'll be like, all right, cool, I got away with one. I know he makes that mistake going into T1. I'll make sure to not make it the same time again. So regardless of how this goes here, he either is going to carry some momentum into tomorrow and something that he needs to work on through this morning and this afternoon where he is, or he needs to learn fast because he's got Makoto Ito, who's only been getting stronger and stronger the more that RX-7 hits the track.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of how it goes. If you're sitting and waiting, it makes it very, very hard. And again, I think that just might have been overconfidence because he's been driving like that all day. And it looks great in the lead, but again, sometimes if you're really trying to drive faster than a slower car, you just run out of track ahead of you.
In any kind of motorsport, but especially drifting, it's so hard when you're so used to driving at 100 to back it down to 90. It's almost foreign. You don't know what to do with your hands. You don't know what to do with your feet. A lot of times, you've seen it in real life, you'll see it in the sim. A lot of times where you'll see drivers, all they need to do is take it easy, is where mistakes get forced. It'll happen. It's happened before, and it will happen again. Not to say that, that Thanathip was looking at a slam dunk win there. Ito was there in a chase the whole time, but
A lot to dissect, I think.
Absolutely.
You could call it, again, we've seen it get called either way, but leaning towards usually the leaders at fault on that. At least today.
Just want to give a quick thank you to everybody watching. It's been a day. You know, we got friends, fans, teams from all over the world supporting the best of the best, seeing who makes it into the top 16. If you drop a like on the stream, that'd be super appreciated. Helps us over here at ESDA. Helps us continue doing what we do. If you're having a good time hanging out with us. And this is your final battle of the APAC region preliminaries. One of these drivers will join 3 more who have earned their way from their respective regions to join the double elimination top 16 tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. It will either be the Thailand driver, Thanafip Thanalapanen, or the Japanese driver trying to join his teammate and keep the hopes of a Japanese driver win on Japanese soil alive of Makoto Ito. But it will be a tough call here for our 3 judges.
Yes, for sure. And again, calls like that are really hard because it is a decel zone, but sometimes you can decel too much as well. It's not still like a free call. So we do have a call here, and we're even gonna go and we will discuss it later. So slide him left for Thanalapanen, slide him to the right for Ito. 1, 2, and 3. Thanalapanen locks himself into the top 16 alongside Yuna Warren, Diego Beltrami, and Braden Swan. The judges note that this was explained in the driver's meeting. You cannot extend your decel into outer zone 1. He was still decelerating after the zone started. So that was the deciding call there in the final battle here today.
Yeah, and I mean, it's decided battles before today, and that will mean that Thanafip Thanalapanen is the only driver from the winner's bracket who has earned his way into the top 16. We have our 4 wild cards, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be the man from Finland, Black Smoke Racing's very own Juna Warren, representing Europe. In the Latin America side, it'll be Diego Beltrami, the Chilean driver. It'll be Braden Swan from North American Art of Motion, and Thanafip Thanalapanen for Vatana Motorsports with Autobox from Thailand, representing APAC. Those 4 drivers will join the rest of the best in tomorrow's competition here from Tsukuba Circuit, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Do make sure you are back here tomorrow to see who will be your 2024 ESDA Esports Drift Association World Champion.
Precision. Give us my only decision. If I don't want that back, calling me splurge. Let me jump right out the curve. This right fly like a bird. Spin on the first and the third.